Welcome back, everybody. This is Brother Mutant here. Today we are doing another viewer requested build. This is a Thundercaller bard build. There are some updates to give you here though before we start. I have Call of the Wild working, so you'll see that me spending even more time, sad as it is to say, on some of these videos because there's more spells, more classes as a result, newer things to dip into. So if you guys have Call of the Wild, obviously this is for PC players only. Feel free to suggest things. I already have in the hopper a request for a Blood Rager dwarf build, and you better believe I'm going to do that one like crazy because I love me some Blood Raging. You really kind of dig a Blood Rager build for those of you that like to cast but not all that much and you still want to be a solid attacker. Blood Ragers are really, really powerful. So notice right now from the mods that I currently have, I got Bag of Tricks working, Call of the Wild, and Eldritch Arcana, and that's it. I shut everything else off because something in here is calling problems with Call of the Wild. It may even cause problems with Eldritch Arcana. I may never noticed it. So again, I don't know. And basically the only way to do that would be to turn stuff on one at a time and get a feel. I know, for example, I don't need remove area effects anymore because Call of the Wild implements an ability to just point and click and make a spell go away, which I actually will use. This is how we would pen and paper house rule a lot of our spells that were area effect spells. No one wants to stay there and like block the hallway of a dungeon with a grease spell for the next 20 goddamn minutes and go, well, I guess we're stuck here for 20 minutes. I want to take a knee. No, screw that. They want to get the game going. So what we say is that if you summon the spell, you can dispel it naturally without using a dispel magic effect. You just say, ooh, and I'm done with you now. Not that you're sustaining it, not like it's concentration or anything like that. It's just that I brought you into this world, I can take you out kind of shit. So stuff like that. But I do like Call of the Wild, and I will walk you through quite a few of the things that we have access to in the beginning of this video, simply because it's my first chance to show this to you. So we're going to do hard difficulty in the Tenebrous Depths. I was tempted to do a build here for you two different ways. Tiefling was one idea, and then the other is a gnome. And I'm going to do the gnome. I think the Tiefling would be tougher, and I'll explain why when we're leveling you up, but I think that the gnome is going to be more fun. And it's because of the new spells that we get thanks to Call of the Wild that I think the gnome is the way to go. So a little gnome person, being a bard, basically can then slit your throat and all kinds of other fun stuff, is a viable option. Now there's not a really good gnome picture, sadly, that I have for the character, so I'm just going to use this one. And that's okay. It's not the best pick, but the hairstyle will at least match with, was it number 4? With like that one. So, and it does, feel like her. Maybe she's got a little more of a smirk on her face, so we have the happy smile. Like so. Maybe the body type is extra thin because she is going to be a dex-based character. The reason for the gnome is not just all this wonderful stuff, it's really the gnome magic. The bonus to your illusion spells. You get a decent smattering of illusion spells for being a bard in general. Call of the Wild has added a slew more spells, and several of them, my favorites, are going to be illusion spells, as you'll see, and we'll definitely be getting them. So there's some fun, serious fun to have here. And it is tough. It is a tough character. It's just not going to be as tough, or it could be as tough as the Tiefling. It won't be because we're going to go a specific way. Before we get into your bard, though, just to show you what Call of the Wild has added, like Hinterlander, Holy Vindicator, I think that's all here. Witch, War Priest, Vindictive Bastard, Summoners, Spiritualists. I think Slayers was in the game. Skulls are new, Shamans are new, Psychics were new. Phantoms, I think those are come from your Spiritualists. I think you summon a spirit to fight for you, and that's what the Phantom is here. We have, of course, our Oracles. Notice we even have new classes, subclasses. So Magus, we have our typical 4 still here, but now we have Eldritch Scion, Blood Rager, which I'm going to fucking get all up in that shit. Mind Blades, which I'm assuming are the psychic versions of the Magus, where you use a natural magical or a psychic projection of a weapon as your weapon of choice. Nature Bonded Magus, I'm just assuming just off of the name that's probably like a druid Magus hybrid kind of character where you literally have affinity with like druid spells or some shit like that. On those we have investigators now instead of inquisitors. We have both. I have no idea what these guys are about. I'll have to look into those. We have new types of fighters. And by the way, apology to that person that I was talking about Eldori Sword Lords with the other day. I keep confusing Eldori Sword Lords with the Eldori Defender. That's my mistake. I was like, how do you not have fighter levels when you got like 9 levels of Eldori Defender? It was the Eldori Sword Lord. I keep forgetting that it's a separate category here. I keep thinking duelist is the only one down here that's the specialist like the Eldori Swordlord, but they're separate, and that's my bad. Other stuff though, like even the Bard, first let's go to Blood Rager. Here's the Blood Rager ones where I'm going to make a dwarf out of one of these. These ones again are barbarians that have an innate bloodline, you know, again similar to the Magus or the Elder Scion bloodlines or the Sorcerer bloodlines that allow them to cast spells while raging, but only like level 1 through 4. They don't get cantrips, I don't think. They don't get much in the way of spell power, but you know, there's some decent stuff at level 1, 2, 3, and 4 they can have some fun with. And they get the free spells again based on their bloodline and some other fiddly bits as well. So there's a lot of fun to have here for a raging class. My current favorite is the Urban Blood Rager because of stuff like this, the adopted magic. You know, me and my love of free spells a day. Plus their rage is less of a rage, it's more of a I'm super strong now, or super tough, or for some reason I'm extra dexterous. It's still a rage ability. So it's treated like a rage. If you get extra rounds of rage, there's rounds a day of use of this. It is the rage ability for these guys. They're more in tune with their rage, if you will, so they're not batshit crazy about it. But they're still raging. And it's cool. And then again, there's a lot of fun to be had here. But notice even for like, well, first, last one to mention is Arcanists. A whole new set of stuff here. This was also missing. Arcanists are a baller. I want to say this is kind of like a wizard sorcerer hybrid, as weird as it is to say that, but these can be some serious fun. Bards, we've added even Arrow Song Minstrel and Dirge Bard, like if you want to have like the ability to raise the dead of the people you just killed with a song. It's fucking badass, right? Like you killed that guy, bring him back to life. Here you go, buddy, kill your friends. And it only lasts until the song stops. But it's funny, and I can see this being very, very cool bard to play, especially if you made him an undead bard, no less, to be like a Pied Piper of the Dead kind of guy. That could be pretty baller. We did Flame Dancer for you once before, though. I think this is for Joshua that I'm doing this build, by the way. And Thundercaller was the one that you even suggested, so this is the one we're going to do. I'm just going to change your clothes a little bit to so you get tan and green. So we got this kind of like in reverse order. This should be the green, and this should be the tan. It's not tan enough. That's too much. There we are. And this one should be the green. I think that's good enough for me. Okay. So, like I said, we're going to do you a Thundercaller build. And again, the reason for the gnome is two reasons. One is the charisma. The other is the illusion magic. It's going to get a bonus to the DC. So you better believe we're going to be about casting. So that means I need your charisma to be at least a 19, if not a 20 at the start. Why? Because we can invest either 5 or 4 points then to get you all the way to level 24 charisma by the end of the build. Before gear, of course. So you have as much charisma as possible for your best DC caster stat possible. And as you're going to see, you can be a very good illusionist. Even though you still want to damage, trust me when I say we'll still have damage for you. Now notice something else in here. We have now a favored class. This is something that's new, again, coming from our Call of the Wild, I believe. This is the ability to literally, instead of every level, I think that the devs gave you the ability to give like a free HP at every level, or a free skill at every level. I can't remember which. Here, now we can choose. So if you click the class that you're going to be using more often than not, especially on the Purist build, now we get a choice. Here's your choice. Notice two things. One, you can either get a hit point or a skill at every rank, or at a certain level, which is once you start casting level 2 spells, you'll be able to get free spells. Pretty badass, right? Well, not for you, because again, you're a gnome. Look at this list requirement. Half elf, half orc, human, Aesir, or tiefling. What is the one commonality in all these guys? They're human to some degree. Half elf is half human. Half orc is half human. Human is half human twice. I don't know. Aesir, half human, half angel, I guess. Tiefling, half human, half demon, or half devil, right? Notice that means no halfling, no gnome. Dwarves are excluded from this. Elves are excluded from this. So again, you see we got a lot of people that aren't getting it, including you. This is a bummer, because this is not only for bards, but this is for all spontaneous casters, I believe, in the game. So again, sorcerers could get extra spells this way. Eldritch Scions could get extra spells this way, and you better believe my Eldritch Scion builds are going to capitalize on some of this shit. Because skills are nice, but I can give myself 12 intelligence and call that shit good. I'd rather have some spell set. Because sometimes it's like, man, I really wish I had Expeditious Retreat, but I really want Snowball. Or maybe I want Snowball, but I also want Grease. I can't get both. Well, now you can, right? And that's pretty badass. And you don't have to grab it at every level. Every level can be something different. So again, that's kind of cool to me. I thought that was pretty slick. Chills. Ability scores, first off, like I said, get that charisma to 19 or 20. Get your dexterity to 16. Can't, so we need to take that 20 away. Bam. 2 more points to spend. You can level up your strength to not a penalty. I hate having a penalty, as you probably know. I'm sure you're the same way. If you need extra, put in intelligence or con, your choice. I would take at least 2 away from wisdom and go like that. Or maybe there if you feel like you need extra health / fortitude. I do like skills though, and you are a bard, so skills are actually more important than you think. And while this is only looking like 1 every round or every level, I think it's 1 every other level, no less, so it's even worse than you think. But there's going to be some real good things that we're going to get in this build that allows us to have even more skills than you can possibly, well, not possibly imagine. You can imagine it, but it's going to be very cool, let's just say it that way. So I like this split. So it's a 10, 16, 12, 12, 8, 19. And again, I don't mind the will being a little bit low. You're going to be an okay will caster anyway. It's our will save guy anyway. But know that it is a problem early on because of this penalty. And yes, that's also a penalty to your perception and your lore nature and lore religion. But look, if you put points in them, you're already on the plus side. So I'm not too worried about stuff like this. How would I take this character? I think you can actually solo with the tiefling build to the end of the game with this build. Because of a feat or a trait that a tiefling gets. But it would be hard. I'll just be real clear on this. I would try it just for funsies. And I probably wouldn't try it on the hardest difficulty, that's for sure. And I certainly wouldn't do it for the last Aslanti mode, where it's basically if I fail, if I die, then the game is over. Fuck that shit. That's crazy people talk. But on hard difficulty, which is what we're at right now, I could totally see doing it. You would have to get through the tutorial, which of course you'd have to take your team through that anyway. Once you get to Oleg's, I would probably take everyone down to where you meet Tartuccio that first time and get one more teammate. Go right back to Oleg's and drop off everybody except you. By then you'd be level 3, more likely than not. And as such, I think at level 3 and on up, you could solo this character. Even this one. So again, I think you'll have fun. Because we're soloing, you need to have athletics, mobility, and trickery unlocked. Why? Because you're the one doing all those checks now. Make sure to shut off XP share for the team that's not there, and shut off XP share for anyone that does the skill check. So basically the only person that gets the XP is the person that does the skill check. So that means that if you're getting the mobility or the trickery check, all XP comes to you, even if there is someone on the team. This is going to be how you out-level the team faster than anything else. And again, if you go solo, the sky's the limit, and the world is your oyster. So really, really awesome stuff here. And again, unlocking them gives you a nice bump. You will unlock everything on this list, just be real clear. Nature and religion aren't as impressive to me, so if you wanted to save a couple of points, we're not going to heavily invest in them, but 1 point each is going to be worth it eventually. I would just unlock them just to have them early levels. If you don't get them in the early levels though, don't get them in the late levels, because 1 point in it is garbage. Early levels though, if you come across a lore nature check, and if you don't have any skill in it, you can't do it. So having a +3 in there at least is a chance to do the check. See what I'm saying? But that's really only like chapter 1. If you haven't unlocked these by chapter 1, don't bother. But you better believe use magic device will be a staple. So persuasion, again, you're a charisma-based person, right? These are definitely staples. And your kingdom is important, so persuasion is important. Perception is always important. Knowledge, world, knowledge, arcana, kind of on you for which one you want to unlock here first. Notice that knowledge world, you get a bonus for being a gnome. So a little +2, that's why you're at 7 here. This one here is only at a +5. Why? Because again, you don't have any bonus for this. If you were an elf, this would be the one that gets the bonus. Tieflings, I can't remember if you get a bonus for any of these things for the type of tiefling that you could have been. And just to backpedal on that, the tiefling you would pick is called Spite Spawn. They get a bonus to Dex and a bonus to Charisma. And I think like a penalty to either Intelligence or Wisdom, which kind of sucks. I'd bring the Intelligence back up to a 10 though, I tell you that right now. But those ones are fun. Like I said, the tieflings, the 18, you could have started with an 18 Dex and a 19 Charisma, if you went tiefling, just to say. Come on. Now, one of the things I do like is even with the Call of the Wild mod, the Eldritch Arcana Mod's traits, and including the drawbacks, are still here. You could go, and I'm not doing it, you could go, you were cursed. Notice you get to pick a deity. If you pick Urgathoa, you don't have to pick a deity because you're in a bard. But if you pick Urgathoa as your deity, look at you were cursed, you could go undead curse. And that means back here, you would not invest in con at all, to the point where you would actually take all those fucking points away because it's about to be a dash. See that? And I got 4 points now that I can spread around as I so choose. Maybe I want to get that wisdom back up. Maybe I want to have another point in intelligence, whatever. It's not going to be amazing, but the point is those could have been powerful because con is no longer being used. Your charisma is what's being used. And again, I could get you to a 20 right off the bat right now if I so choose. 5 points invested in that, and then I have a random 1 point to put somewhere else. That's not, again, very impressive, but I could have gone like this, gone further, and say, where would I put that last point? Well, either strength or intelligence. Again, on you on that one, but we're not doing that. You can. I'm not going to. I just wanted to show it to you. Envy is the one we're going to pick, the emotional drawback, and now I got to go back here and fix my damn con stack because it sucks now. There we go. We're back to normal. We're picking envy because while there's a penalty to concentration checks, that's of course you're casting your spells. That's only if you're not buffing up. If you're casting in combat and you're getting hit, you're going to stay at distance if you're probably casting some of your spells at the early levels at the very least, and then you'll have enough money that it's not going to be a problem, in my opinion. This gives us 3 traits though instead of 2. Now of course we're going to go an equipment trait, but thank God Call of the Wild is part of our mod list because now the family heirloom trait, which is my favorite, is even more inclusive. Look at this laundry list of shit we have access to now, bro. We're going to go rapier, but we got quarterstaffs now. The orc double axes in here. Notice that we have like heavy flail wasn't there before. Flail was, but not heavy flail. That's the 2-hander. This is the 1-hander. Keep those separate. Those are separate categories. Notice that we have like great axes, great clubs, fauchard, falchions, falcatas. I think the falcata wasn't there before. Dwarven war axes here now if it wasn't before, so it's the dwarven ergosh. Again, they added a laundry list of things, and you appreciate those things. So here's a solid upgrade. Okay, right at level 1, you got a +1 weapon. You also have a +1 to swing with any rapier from this point forward, and you're a dex-based build, so you better believe we're going to get weapon finesse. Then you're going to grab yourself a combat trait. First thing to check in here, because some of these are going to be kind of new because of the Call of the Wild mod. So check for anything that gives you more bardic performances, because that's more of these blastings in a day. Because I treat these like they're spells based on how many bardic performances I have, and I think by the end of the build you're going to be in the 40s for how many rounds of use of bardic performance. That technically means you can blast over 40 times in a day before you rest. Just saying. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it's there. And that's power. That's a lot of bang for your buck, pardon the pun. So check for that. There's none in here in this level. But I still like my Bladed Society. So again, little sneak attack loving. And if you're going solo and you can set up that sneak attack, you have Sense Vitals and you have Greater Invis on this build. You can sneak attack in here. Why not take it from 5d6 to 6d6 plus 6? Just saying, this is what this is going to do for you. And that's nice. And even if you don't cast that spell, you run out, you still have 1d6 plus 1. It's not amazing, but at level 3, that's still useful, especially if you're soloing. Then we're going to grab ourselves, just to point out the race trait that the Tiefling, if you went Tiefling, you would have gotten for free here. You'd be picking up Ever Wary. And again, we can still do it on this build, but the downside is I have to take Adopted here, Ever Wary. Nothing wrong with this. I'm not going to pick it now, for one, but the other reason that you don't want to do this, in my opinion, is see Maestro of the Society. I can get 3 more performances a day, and you're like, well, wouldn't you rather have the extra dex? Yeah, I kind of do, but this is 3 more spells a day of this spell. Remember? 3 performances, or 3 more performances, 3 more rounds of performances. But this one is every round is used to cast this spell, or sorry, supernatural ability, whatever. Point is, that's 3 more blam blam blams and that 9d8 of damage. That's kind of hard to pass up, bro. Up to you. But again, I do like the adopted Tiefling, as you know. But if you were a Tiefling, you didn't have to even go adopted. You just go into race trait, and it'd be waiting for you here. You are a gnome, so you only get like these 2, which you don't want. Everyone gets Trifler. This is a new one from the Call of the Wild, which I kind of dig too. We're not picking it though. This is, Grandma was a caster of some kind with some magical skill. You always kissed up to her when we're like always hanging on her knee, whatever. And so she left you in her will 2 magic rings. A Bless ring, which casts the Bless spell 3 times a day. Something you can get early levels, by the way. And an Arcane Missile ring, which casts a magic missile 3 times a day, where you shoot 2 missiles at a time. And while that don't sound all that impressive, that's free magic items. And you can fucking buff yourself with your swing right off the bat. You can also buff your like ranged attack, where you can just guarantee a hit. Pop, pop. That's minimum 4 damage, maximum of 10 damage. That's not bad, man, for a level 1 character just to have those. I'm just saying. It's kind of funny that they added that. I thought that was fucking cute, though, and I figured I'd point it out to you. What are we going to take? Well, first, we are going to go Faith trait, and I'm going to grab you Planar Savant. You have a high Charisma. Why not have a high Knowledge Arcana based on Charisma instead of Intelligence? Or Knowledge World. Remember, you're a gnome. If you want to be just really good at World, and be like, because if you're going to team play and not solo, then be awesome at World. And you will be. You'll fucking finish this build with like a World check in the 40s. This will be amazing for you. Don't kid yourself. But I have to kind of like getting Arcana for obvious reasons, and you already got a little bump to World thanks to you being a gnome. So between the two of these, this one all will key off of Charisma. This one will still key off of Intelligence, and your Intelligence is not horrible, so that's not amazing. And you do have skill that you will invest in both of these, so why not make sure both of them are good? This is my way of doing so. From here, by the way, I don't want to have Urgatha as my deity. I want to switch that. I would probably take either Callistria or Caden, Kalian, because of a couple of reasons. One, they both use rapiers. That doesn't matter. I just like knowing that I'm using the weapon of choice of my deity. This one I'm picking because she's evil, and you're going to play an evil character, in my opinion, and I'll show you why. Has to do with the summons, though. From here, though, feat-wise, thank God, Eldritch Arcana works because we still have our spell vulnerability. So I can get you spell vulnerable to abjuration spells and cold weakness, but that gives us 2 feats to pick. Remember, you're not a human, and even if you were tiefling, you still wouldn't have but 2 to pick here because of this. So pick Weapon Finesse is an obvious pick. Then you would say, you know, why not get Piranha Strike? I would, but there's a way to get Power Attack, and if you can wait until you get a Belt of Strength plus 4, you can get Power Attack, and I think you should. I'll explain why later. Lingering Performance is just waiting here for you. This is not the worst thing ever for a bard. Think about what this is. Most people will use this like I do, where you turn on your song and shut it off immediately. It lasts for 3 rounds then. 1 round that you just activated it, and 2 rounds after. Okay, so basically you just take however many uses a day. If that's how you always use it, you've tripled the uses a day. You see what you did there? Has no impact on this guy, because these ones are actual rounds, not partial rounds bullshit. Same with this doofus here. It has nothing to do with, did you turn it on and then you shut it back off, and that has nothing to do with it. It just uses up the charges. So these ones are spells as far as I'm concerned. Big AoE heal and a big AoE blast. These other ones though that are spells, like I could turn this on and shut it right back off, and it lasts for, like I said, 3 rounds. And if they're bad guys in the area of effect, I got 3 blasts coming their way. Electric, then electric, and then electric in the next total of 3 rounds. That's not bad for 1 use. That's 3d6 up to 3d10 if you're in the area of effect of that air elemental, which again is a summon that you're probably going to pick up. And then of course once it graduates up to this, it's 5d6 or 5d10 again if you're in the effect of a stormy weather kind of thing. Pretty badass, I think. I'm not saying grab it now, I'm just saying it is an option. Other stuff that I liked in here was of course our Arcane Strike. Remember, you have no strength really. So a +1 to your damage going all the way up to +5 by the end of the build is a solid plus, all plus, no minus. Gotta love an Arcane Strike ability. Level 1 spells, I will point out at every new level the new spells, because Call of the Wild added a lot. And I'll even point out the ones that were again for Eldritch Arcana. So here's one from Call of the Wild, Dazzling Blade. I don't particularly care about it. It's really good for those that want to use like the feint maneuver, so a bluff check. There's some other fiddly bits here about it that's pretty interesting, but I'm not particularly interested in it in any real way. It is cool though. Detect Secret Doors, that came from Eldritch Arcana. This is basically a massive bonus to your abilities to see hidden things. So whether you're in the Tenabra Steps and you're looking for that hidden door, this thing will like just straight up spot them. But it does get glitchy. You can see the door, and then suddenly you will not be able to like click the door and make the door go away. Now there's ways around that. I'm not going to go into it, but it can be a problem. I think it's only the Tenabra Steps so that is an issue. Ear piercing. New spells. Invigorate, new spell from Call of the Wild. Basically prevents you from being fatigued or exhausted during the duration of the spell. And I think what it does is if you're already fatigued or exhausted, it suppresses the penalty. Remember, that's just a penalty to strength and dex, but that's something you care about. So having the ability to make that go away is not bad. It does last for a good long while, but notice the part here, it's just an illusion. So literally afterwards, you really do need to get rid of the fatigue or the exhaustion. So this doesn't make it go away. It just goes away for the duration of the spell. And that's good enough in many cases. And I think, yeah, that was it. So in here, you still want to be a damage dealer. So ear piercing scream is still going to be a must. You could go cure spells 1 through 6. There's a cure spell at every level, and I'm not telling you not to, especially if you're soloing. This is quite useful. But I would recommend stuff like crowd control, and I know enchantment is kind of our thing, but we're more of an illusionist, remember, so illusion spells are kind of our thing too. So any enchantment or illusion is a solid choice for you. Notice that we're going to want to swap this one out later. Okay, so it's going to be a problem, but it's only going to be a problem for so long.
I won't take that.
Again, we want to be evil. You could be anything you want to, but we picked a deity, so now our choices are limited by our deity. I wanted evil for a reason, because there's a summons that if we go neutral or good aligned, then we get a different kind of summons. And solo build actually is not the worst thing ever, because those guys are bad, but they're only bad for your team and you. But you can manage them in a way that you can get out of the way of their fire, so to speak. If it's just you, if it's your team, that shit gets crazy. But this one, you get the evil versions, and the evil versions are a little more teammate friendly, if you will. So that's why we're going this route. We need to give you a name though, officially. I'm going to call you Thunderbuns. Welcome to the world, Thunderbuns. None shall escape you. So we're going to show you some stuff. We're going to level you all the way to 20, and we're going to show you some stuff that we're going to get that's going to be like unique spells, stuff that's new, thanks to Call of the Wild, and some tricks that can be had with those. I'm going to show you also the rapiers that you're going to want to get, gear that I would recommend for this type of build, especially since it's like I said, a potential solo build, and I still maintain that you can solo. First, let's actually put stuff away. Go to your abilities. Know that we need to switch you over to a melee weapon. Notice that they gave you a rapier +1 thanks to family heirloom. Look at that swing, thanks to weapon finesse. +1 for rapier, +1 for family heirloom, +1 for size. I always forget this part. You're a teeny tiny person, so you got a better size chance to hit those big fat heads, and you got better armor as a result of that size too. So there's a lot of good stuff for being a gnome. Okay, tieflings could have been cool too, because you would have had an 18 instead of 16. But again, potato potato. Still happy that you got a little bonus here besides. Okay, so we're going to take off that rapier, leave on the magic one. Now, you want the charge ability. You want coup de grace. You will actually be able to capitalize on that, especially thanks to your sleep spell. Notice that the mod gives you dismiss spell. This is our area of effect go away shit. So you click this, click the dirt, wherever you have the like grease spell or the web spell or the stinky cloud. You get the idea, and it'll go away after the fight's over. Notice first, let's put our song down here and our arcane strike and fighting offensively. This is my typical, and then I put my spells over here. Okay. Notice we have other things, and this is an addition thanks to Call of the Wild, I have to imagine. Normally, once you get Lore Religion unlocked, you will see that your character gets this ability that looks just like this. Instead of it being a tab pull-up, though, it's just a click and done. It's called Treat Affliction. Treat Affliction is the I'm removing your poison effect. I'm removing the disease on you. And again, it will work if your religion is high enough and you make a skill check. Same thing still here. Notice, here it is still, Treat Affliction. But notice something else. We can do once a day per person the ability to try to treat their wounds, which means we heal them. Not a lot, but we heal them with like bandages and whatever, our skill as a healer, so to speak. So, or like a nurse, whatever. Point is, this is something that was not in the vanilla version of the game. And I thought this was a nice addition, because this was always like, where's my bandages, man? I mean, it's nice to have healing spells, don't get me wrong. But you're telling me that if I don't have a healer on the team, we're all just boned? Fuck that shit. So here's our way to solve that problem. And I thought that was kind of a nice addition. Notice also they even added aid, another. We have 2 ways to help a teammate. Picture this character stuck in a doorway. All the bad guys are funneling through, hitting her and only her. No one else can get through because her big fat head's in the way. And she's getting wailed on. Everyone can line up behind her, and if they're within range and can touch her, we can give her either aid, another attack bonus, so a bonus to her swing for 1 round and 1 round only, or we can give her extra armor. And they do stack, so I can give it to you +2, another person give it to you +2, another person give it to you so she could be like really armored up by us aiding her, even though we can't get in there to do any actual fun. So this is actually another thing that's pen and paper-ish in the game, and I always liked the fact that they added that too. I thought that was kind of slick, and I figured I'd point that out to you. Spell-wise, we're just going to put our buffs over here, crowd control up there, probably damaging spells on the right. Okay, so again, like ear piercing screen goes here, crowd control, sleep spell goes there, and sleep spell will allow you to do coup de grace or your team once you put them to sleep. That's nice, because once they fail that save, they fall right to the fucking ground for a minute. And there's not like multiple saves, I don't think. It's like save and a suck spell. So if they fail it, they're down. The moment they take damage, they wake back up. But they are helpless while they're sleeping, so that's what coup de grace is on your trade for. And this is vanilla version of the game, so all this stuff so far is applicable, just not these weird things. So it's pretty cool that they've added that ability for us. I thought that was worth mentioning. Now let's power level your character. Get you up to a solid level 23, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros in a row. Pick your character. You are now level 20. Let's do it. Bard. Skill rank. Again, notice that we could have had free spells, but only if we were human. Some derivation of human thereof. Other than that, at every level, if we're going purist, which we are, you get to flip-flop as much as you want. So at level 1, that could have been a skill, now it can be an HP. Now it can be a skill, now it can be an HP. And it really will keep track of how many hit points you gave yourself and how many skills you gave yourself. So don't think that it's a one-and-done decision. No, you can be skills all the way, hit points all the way, mix and match to your heart's content. If you really just wanted one more HP, here you go, man. Just saying, it's actually kind of cool that they've added this stuff. So here, I'm going to go Perception always. I'm going to get Trickery up because, you know, if you're running solo, or you will be at level 3 in my opinion, you want to make those Trickery checks, don't you? And then I'm going to start unlocking other things. So let's get that Lore Religion up in case we need to heal ourselves. Let's get Lore Nature up in case we need to skin an animal. Okay. And again, Knowledge World and Stealth will be unlocked. Persuasion and Use Magic Device will be unlocked before too long, so don't worry. Notice these little goobers are very cool. First, what do they do? Well, show unavailable first. I want you to see some things. One, we got performances coming our way. These are new additions, new songs that we have access to. It's very cool. There's a one in there that allows you to basically cast a haste spell on you while you're singing, basically. And instead of it being the generic haste where it's +1 to your armor, +1 to your reflexes, +1 to your swing, and of course an extra swing around, it gives you +4 bonus to your armor, +4 bonus to your reflexes, +4 bonus to your attack by level 20. So basically it's 1/5 of your bardic level. So if you take a bard level 5 and cast that song, you'd be getting a +2. +1. Then you get a +2 at level 10, +3 at level 15 on up, and then at level 20 it caps out at +4. That's kind of cool. I'm not saying we're getting it, I'm just saying it's interesting. Notice we have these expanded versatilities, which are just like the versatilities you're going to see here, but better. And then you have this thing called Martial Performance. Read this first. The bard or skald gets these. Selects a weapon she is proficient with, like our rapier, right? She receives a weapon focus with associated weapon category and treats her bard and skald level as half fighter levels for the purposes of qualifying for combat feats for that weapon. So don't grab weapon focus rapier, is what I'm telling you. It's going to come. It won't show up until here. I think you need to be level 6 yet. So you'll be level 6 right here. It'll be the first thing you grab is Martial Performance rapier, or whatever weapon you choose. But I like the rapier. There's plenty of them. And again, you can use them as a bard, as you can see here. So why not go rapier? You're already a dex-based character. What we're going to grab here, what these do, the versatile performance and then of course the expanded versatile are basically more of the same. If you're going a purist, think of it this way. Versatile performance, let's do perception because that's what I'm going to do. At every even level, which includes this level, I will get a free perception skill point. And you say, oh, that means I'm going to get a 30 by the end of the build because I'll invest 20 and then get 10 more. No. What's going to happen is it's going to refund all the ones we've already invested in. Right now we've invested in 2. One of them at level 2. We just did this. So once we click next, you'll see that it goes back to skills and say, hey, you got a skill still to spend. It's recycling the one from the perception. So at level 3, I had to burn a perception skill point to level it up. At level 4, I'll get one for free. Level 5, I burn one to get it to level up. And level 6, I get one for free. So basically, I'm getting 10 free skill points by the end of the build by clicking this thing. And I can click it for any of these. Okay? Now wait. The expanded version is the other half. So if I get versatile performance and then expanded perception. Versatile performance perception and expanded versatility perception. By the end of the build, I'll be a level +20 perception, and I won't have invested 1 skill point in it. So basically I'm telling you I'm getting 20 free skill points by picking these 2 feats. Okay? That's why you do this one, and this is really nice. This really allows you to flesh out your character even more. So if you thought that, oh, I'm going to be a bard, but I'm not going to have very many skills because my intelligence as a tiefling is like 10 or 8 or some shit, this goes a long way to make your character feel better. And invest, in my opinion, in something that you would have invested in naturally anyway. Perception. Why not get it to 20 for free? Hell yeah. And then I'll take those points back and put it wherever the fuck I want. So basically that's what we're doing here. So we're doing perception. Break it. Come on. Yeah, see, it gives me one back because, again, I had one automatically put here. Notice I can't take one away, but it's at 2. Why? Because it gave me one at every even level for free. That's why this one's coming back to me. And now I can put that wherever I want. Like, how about we unlock that knowledge world now, baby? There you go. Now, spells, I'm going to go with stuff that's, you know, good enchantment, illusion, crowd control stuff, as well as damage. There's not much in the way of damage in this build, sadly. You will have plenty of DPS, don't worry about that. Just, it's going to take a little bit to get there. Part of it's going to be this, part of it's going to be something else. I'm always going to go skill, just so we're clear. Notice I have to invest in perception and the odd ones right now, since that's why I put one there. And again, I'm going to put trickery up. Might as well get mobility up to 3 as well. I like being 3 and done with it. If you want to go higher, you can. You are a dex-based character after all, but this is just so in case we fight defensively, we got that extra little +1 to our armor, you know. And again, I can unlock stealth, and remember, you are a little teeny tiny person, your size matters. +4 for stealthing because of your size. So we could do that. I don't care about it right now. I think use magic device and persuasion probably start needing some love. So like I said, we're going to unlock everything. And if you want to unlock everything first, do that thing, man. I'm not going to tell you not to. I think it's a little wasteful at this point. So again, I'd rather have mobility, especially if you are trying to solo. Mobility checks are hard. You know, even with a solid +9 that you have, it's still difficult sometimes. So maybe you really do want to invest in this just a tiniest bit more to get to the 3. Now from here, like I said, normally I would do weapon focus rapier. We don't want to do that. Lingering performance is waiting for me. I like my piranha strike, but again, like I said, if you can wait to get a strength belt of +4, you can actually grab power attack, and that's actually recommended. I would actually do piranha strike, but that's me. I don't like being dependent on gear, as most people have known from my other videos. But there's plenty of other good stuff in here. For example, extra performances, 6 extra rounds a day, or 6 extra spells a day of this thing. So this gets really, really powerful. And you can grab this multiple goddamn times. I'm not saying do it, I'm just saying it's there. We're a hop, skip, and a jump away from having a level 2 spell. Why not get a meta magic? Normally, I would say get intensified. There's not a lot of spells that you can intensify on this build either. There are some, and definitely the damaging spells that you want, but I would rather honestly go extend. Why? You're going to do enchantments, illusions, and of course your evocation spells and your buff spells. Most of them are going to benefit from this. So you have a lot of level 1 through 5 spells that are going to be able to go from 2 to 6 with this meta magic. And again, buffs are really going to make your character amazing. So I like the extend, but it's on you on this one. Level 1, I'm going to grab my reach spell. Now you have your Thundercaller ability, AoE, not teammate friendly. It is not a spell. Be real clear on this. This is literally not a spell. Matter of fact, I can show it to you. It's this guy here. See how it says supernatural? And notice how it says, I don't know if this is true, but it says not affected by spell resistance. If that's true, that's amazing, because the equivalent spell of this right now is called Sound Burst, and it is a spell at level 2. It does the same damage, has the same effect, but it is affected by spell resistance because, again, it is a spell. So if this one is not affected by spell resistance, which I hope it is, or isn't affected by it, then I'd really love this ability for you. This is going to be quite amazing. Go Bard. Skills. Charisma always. We'll finish with a solid +7 over here. And that's why, again, if you were an undead character, this would be an amazing Bard. Again, Trickery. Notice Perception was already there. I didn't put anything in it. This is waiting for us. So now I can put it in other stuff. Where am I going to put it in? Now let's get the use magic device and stealth unlocked finally. And now, what you feel. You want to have more knowledge arcana, sure, go for it. Knowledge world, fine. Whatever you want to do. Hell, maybe you just want to get that persuasion up. You're getting about ready to get your kingdom soon. So, whatever you want to do. Level 2 spells. Unique stuff in here. Let's go reverse. Summon 6 goblins. That one came from Eldritch Arcana Mod. Notice it requires a material component called Short Sword. It can't be a masterwork short sword, can't be a magic short sword. It just has to be a generic short sword. Good news is once you summon these guys and they die, they leave their gear, which includes like leathers and short swords, which you can sell for a profit, but keep one of them short swords, so you can always have the ability to summon more. and they're not bad. They're actually quite fun. Sense Violences are going to be our go-to here, but as far as new spells, notice Silence is a new spell, I think. This is an AoE, make someone basically not be able to cast spells. Totally bones over the caster classes. Really, really powerful, and I think it stops the bards from casting spells too if they're affected by it. So that's a solid fuck you spell. Notice we also have Path of Glory now, an AoE or an Illumination Path or whatever, basically where for every round, if you and your teammates are standing in it, you heal for 1 round of healing +1. So 1 health. But you may say, who cares about that? Well, by level 20, you can heal 20 health from a level 2 spell. It's not bad. And that's AoE healing, no less. And if we extend it, remember you got to extend now, don't you? If this can be extended, which I think it should, that's 40 rounds of healing. Now, yeah, you got to sit there for, 2-4 minutes, whatever. So what? If it heals you 40 health and keeps your team alive, or you running solo alive, this would totally be a good spell. Mirror Image, still solid choice. Hypnotic Pattern, notice this here twice. On those, they both should work. Notice if there's extra text, and then you see the one below it, that's the normal looking text. The normal looking text one probably came from Eldritch Arcana. The one with like the extra text is probably came from your Call of the Wild. And I don't say that like I'm picking on them, because the extra text one usually means that they gave you more information. So I kind of prefer the extra one. But it's the same spell. But by and large, I don't think there are any real difference here. So pick and choose, prove that it works, and if it doesn't work, keep track of which one you picked. Because remember, you can spec stuff out. Spec out the spell, like say, pick this one and say, oh, this is broken. Spec it out, oh, maybe I'll try the other one. Make sure you keep track of which one are you grabbing. And then say, oh, this one works, this would be the one that I want to keep, for example. Heroism, still a good spell. New stuff. Oh, Blistering Invective. Okay, this is a damaging spell. So you appreciate this. It's not amazing, but it's like a random like fire damage, I want to say, to these bastards. Kind of an odd spell, like an intimidation check. Very weird spell, but teammate friendly. Bladed Dash, we'll come back to that in a second. Babble is kind of like a weakened version of Confuse. Instead of them randomly choosing what they do, in this case they just straight up babble to themselves. They become nauseated as a result as well, so they're not attacking while that's going on. And what's worse is, because they're babbling incoherently, anyone near them does like a will save to see if they're fascinated by the babble. Think about any time you see some crazy guy in the street fucking rambling about the space aliens eating his brain turds or whatever, and you're just kind of like, what the hell? You just stand there staring at him. It's the same general principle. It's kind of weird. I don't know that I like it, but it's an interesting enchantment spell. Bladed Dash, on the other hand, is going to be something that I'm going to love on every build that's a Magus. That's for damn sure. This is one of the spells that I think Magus were missing in the vanilla version of the game. Bladed Dash and then Greater Bladed Dash is something you can get, at least in a Bard. I'm assuming it'll be there for Magus as well. This is an amazing spell. This is a spell where you point and click. If you can click a target, of course. You point and click that target, and you teleport to that target and stab him in the face with your weapon of choice. Notice also it gives you a bonus to your swing based on your casting stats, so intelligence or charisma, in our case charisma. So you're going to have a really high charisma, and it's going to be a really high hit. Remember, by the end of this build, you're going to be at a +7, and that's before we buff it with gear. I can get you all the way up to a +13, and we will do so. That's a +13 to your swing. Now, it's only one swing, but it is a teleport spell, so literally you over to that motherfucker. Also, notice this. If there's like a step in the way, you will not teleport. So be real careful on this, and I can show you this in the snapper steps. It's kind of annoying. So if they're like on like a podium of some kind and you try to teleport to the bastard, it doesn't work that way. But if it's a straight line from you to him or her, bam. And the better version, which is when we'll swap this one out probably, Greater Bladed Dash, allows you to attack everybody in a line up until your last target. So now if you think about all those cool ass ninja movies you used to watch as a kid, especially like the cartoon version ones where like all the bad guys line up in a nice single file like dumbasses taking on the samurai sword lord motherfucker, and he just like turns to them, screams, power sprints past all of them, slicing once and killing like all the fuckers. They all fall down like a heap at the very end of him attacking the last guy. That's what Greater Bladed Dash feels like. And by the way, it says bladed. That's a misnomer. Any weapon works. It just says it in the title. It says, despite the name, the spell works with any melee weapon. So you can bludgeon dash if you want to, whatever you want to call it. But that's still cool. And again, for the Greater Bladed Dash, that's multiple attacks now. Not only one per guy. So what? They're all at full attack bonus, and they all get that bonus from your charisma modifier. So you could line up 3 or more dudes and hit just funny as shit and watch. And because it's an attack, sneak attack is still applicable. So again, there's a lot of fun you're going to have with this fighting type build for you, buddy. Just saying, this is some really cool spells now, thanks to that Call of the Wild. One of the reasons I love Call of the Wild, it really pissed me off that I couldn't fix it until now. Another +1 to skill. Notice we have to invest into Perception to get it up. Trickery, I'm actually going to take Trickery all the way up to probably like a solid +14. And the reason I say 14, not 15, because I usually do increments of 5, is there's you still get Jack of all trades at some point as a bard, and that means that 14 will become a 15. From here, we got 3 more points to invest. Again, I don't mind, like I said, bumping the 2 smarty pants ones. Again, you are more intelligent than you are wisdom. So I buff those 2, because again, one getting a bonus from being a gnome, the other one getting a bonus from being charisma based. Remember, we set that up on purpose. And I'll randomly upgrade Persuasion, use Magic Device here and there. Let's see here. First go here. We're keeping any spells. We're getting rid of sleep. And if you ever want to check it, always check it, and then always right-click the spell you want up here just to read it. You don't get the full tooltip, which kind of sucks, quite frankly. But it does remind you, oh yeah, sleep wears off at 4 HD. We're at 5 levels now, so chances of us finding 4 HD monsters are pretty fucking slim, so it's time to slop it out. Hideous Laughter is good from start to finish, though. That's why we grabbed it, kind of as a replacement. It's single target versus AoE, though. Don't worry, we'll get the Deep Slumber one before too long. That's the big brother version of sleep, and it'll last us for a good long while until we slot it out. Now, again, do not take weapon focus in whatever weapon we're talking about, because you're about to get it for free over here. But Piranha Strike, Power Attack, if you have that belt. Lingering Performance is a solid option still. Bardic Masterpieces, this is where we get those extra songs, and again, that can come in here as well. So these are free. These are feats that you're burning up to grab them, but they could have been free down here if you wanted them. And there's some good shit in here. I haven't looked at all of them seriously, but there's some definite fun to be had. I maintain that you're going to be a meleeer, so I stay away from your point-blank shot, precise shot, weapon attacks type stuff. We could do additional traits now. There's no need for that, but we could have grab Metamagic Extend here or Intensify here. We don't need it. Dodge is a solid choice for you. I don't mind extra armor. You're a dex-based character. There's nothing wrong with that. Blinded Fight's always a good choice. There's a lot of good stuff in here. We still get you extra performances. If I were to be serious, though, we probably do want that Lingering Performance before too long, because there is some serious power to be had for the ability to turn on your song and shut it off immediately and have it last for that round, the next round, and the round after. I'm just saying, that's a lot of bang for your buck. So I'm going to take Lingering Performance now. Level 1 spell, that's swapping out from our sleep spell, remember? So again, you can pick it again, don't, but you could. I recommend, let's grab some new shit. Let's grab that Invigorate. If you don't like that, and you maybe want to actually solo, maybe you really do want Expeditious Retreat. Again, there's some good stuff that you can do with this one. Level 2, I'm going to go and grab myself some Protection, probably. Let's grab Blur. Okay. Going. Now we're going to have some fun. Let's go rank. Grab Perception's always free. Trickery up here, and then I'm going to grab Persuasion, sure, and then you two guys. Now notice, Martial Performance, laundry list of shit. Doesn't even mean you can use these, so be real careful on some of this shit. But we know what we're going for. We're going for our Rapier, and again, this should give us weapon focus Rapier. We can prove it to ourselves after this, but it also means that our bardic levels are half as strong for being a fighter, but only for purposes of using that Rapier. So if you get like greater weapon focus, that's a fighter level restriction. If you want a weapon specialization in Rapier for extra damage, that is a fighter limitation. So again, you can see we're going to have some serious fun with that Rapier. I'm going to grab for another level 2 spell. I don't mind Heroism, and while it's kind of lame, Heroism is not only an amazing spell, there's 2 better versions of this coming up. But remember, we can swap spells out. So again, this will be again another one of those spells that I'll be like, it's good for while we get it. If I never swap it out, I'm still fine keeping it. But chances are I will trade it out when I get the chance. It's just, I need to have a better version later. Going. Alright, actually, let's backpedal just to see if that Rapier is getting the weapon focus like it says. Weapon focus Rapier. We didn't pick it up, got it for free. Nice. I like that. I messed that up the last time. I've done this video 3 times now. So I messed it up. I keep forgetting. I knew there was something that I was going to want here, and I keep like, what was it? And then the second time I did the video, I'm like, ah, shit. Now we're getting a bonus to your Thunder Call. Still the same number of charges, I believe, to use it. It's only 1 round every time, which I think is quite frankly a mistake. I would have made it where it would take 2 charges, and then 3, then 4, then 5, to get the extra bang for your buck. But I'm going to be happy with the fact that it only costs 1 round, and it does 3d8 damage now. And then it'll be 5d8, and then it'll be 7d8, and then it'll be 9d8 of AoE damage. And again, not friendly for teammates or yourself, so be careful with that shit. Move action, now we can actually turn that song on. Remember the one we turn on and shut back off? That's part of a move action. So we're still attacking now in the same round. Of course, we'd have to be on top of somebody, but you could probably cast a spell. It's a standard action still. More perception, more trickery, and again we're at 13, getting real close to stopping that one. And I'm going to put 1, 2, and use magic device, sure, why not? From here, I do like fencing grace for the rapier. Notice we need a weapon focus to do that. So this is the one that adds your dex modifier. But read this tooltip. Be real clear on these ones, okay? Read the tooltip. You do not gain this benefit while fighting with 2 weapons. So if you're dual wielding, doesn't even have to be rapier. If it's rapier dagger, you're dual wielding. You don't get that bonus anymore. So you go down in damage. You get extra attacks with the offhand weapon, so maybe that makes up for it, but it's not the point. You're like, where's my damage? Where's my damage? I buffed my dexterity. Where's my damage? It's because you didn't read your tooltip. I do this to myself all the time. And here's another example. Flurry of blows. So if you ever try to do a Psy build, like a Sword Saint Psy build, where you had a Psy as your weapon of weapon of choice, you're using a Psy all the time in your main hand, and then you think, oh, I'm going to get Flurry of Blows and add my dex modifier besides. No, you can't, because you're doing Flurry of Blows if you do the Monk Dip, of course, is what we're talking about here. And you're getting the extra attack because you got Flurry of Blows, but now you lost all that damage from your high dex modifier that you probably had. Oops. So do that shit, do it right. Well, there's a cheat around that, and if you want to know what the cheat is, I'll show you how to do a Psy Saint build with a Monk Dip, where you actually still get to use your dex modifier. But you have to ask for it. I ain't going to do it unless you want to see it. But we're going to grab Fencing Rapier, probably. Check through the other stuff again. Piranha Strike, Power Attack, if you have that belt. Next level, I'm going to give myself the belt so we can pick it up. Because by level 8 or 9, you probably have found a belt of Strength +4, I'm guessing. But we'll keep pushing it just a little bit longer. But Rapier, Fencing Grace is still a solid buff by now. Again, you still got a solid +3 dex modifier, so this is extra 3 damage. And you will appreciate that, I think. And again, not the only choices. We have many, many choices here. Level 1, I'm going to grab myself, what? Invigorate. Let's get it. It's a new spell and I want to try it out. It looks like it'd be fun. Level 3 new spells. Okay. Wall of Nausea. Look at this little monster. Basically an AoE wall, supposedly. It says it's 30-foot burst, so I don't know if that's true, if it's literally a wall effect. But if they walk through it, they literally become nauseated. So it's very similar to your Stinking Cloud. But it is a fortitude save. Oh wow, really? It's illusion. It's a fortitude save. What? Cool. Well, we have a bonus to illusion, so this would be a decent spell for us to grab. Probably. I'm not grabbing it now, but we could get it in the future. But there's other good stuff coming our way. But this is really, really nice. And again, it's not teammate friendly. I'm assuming that's same for you. So be real careful with that shit. Notice there's some other fun here besides being nauseated. If the creature fails the nauseated, the creature must make also a DC 12 acrobatics check or fall prone. Now, I don't know what an acrobatics check is in this game. I'm guessing it's probably athletics or mobility or just a dex check. But 12 is not high. It's not the deal here, though. It's one of those where if they fail and they fall prone at the same time, I'm happy with both those things. So more gravy on top kind of thing. Other free stuff, Summon Swarm Squirrels. This came from your Eldritch Arcana mod. Amazing spell. This is literally a pack of rats basically on the ground. So if you ever fight rat swarms, it's the same thing, but it's a squirrel swarm. And again, they don't last very long, but they are annoying, and they will circle and surround a single target and just constantly chitter away, and it's very hard for those targets to kill them. So it's very nice summons, quite frankly. Notice a new spell, and this is why we went gnome. One of the many reasons. Shadow Enchantment. This came from Call of the Wild. I love my shadow spells. If you've ever watched my Neverwinter Nights 2 playthroughs, you know that I'm all about my Shadow Evocation, Shadow Conjuration, Greater Shadow Shade Spell, amazing spells. And I didn't even know Shadow Enchantment was a thing, so maybe this might just be their take on something. But basically what this does is a level 3 spell, which means it will be cast as a level 3 casting, which means the DC check is based on it being level 3. That's going to be important. Also, it's an illusion spell. That's also important. Remember, you're a gnome. So, we already got a buff to it. Notice some fun stuff in here. It allows you to cast any psychic, sorcerer, or wizard enchantment spell of level 2 or lower. Basically, you get to pick and choose, and the list is huge. It doesn't show you the list here. You have to actually pick the spell and open up the tab, and it's massive. Notice some other stuff here, though, like the chance of the save. There's like a will save and blah, 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 based on the save of the spell itself, the one you're trying to mimic. But notice this other part down here. Objects, mindless creatures, and creatures immune to mind affecting effects automatically succeed if their will saves against this spell. Regardless of the result of the save to disbelieve, an affected creature is always allowed any save or spell resistance, and it says right here, no spell resistance. So spell resistance is a thing for these spells. Even though it says no spell resistance, that's a lie. But it is definitely a spell we're going to pick, and you better believe me right goddamn now. Other stuff that's in here, Mass Invigorate, same thing, just AoE version of it. What else we have? Oh, Good Hope, it's not a new spell, but this is the big brother version of Heroism. And this is the one that not only is the saving throws and attack rolls, which is what Heroism does, but it's also ability checks, skill checks, weapon damage, dispels crushing despair. It's an amazing upgrade. So we'll probably get that before too long. Other new spells, that's it for level 3. So for in here, I passed right by it, but I'm going to get you some damage. I said I would. Thundering Drums is not the worst spell ever. It's not the best cone ever. But if you're running solo, I would suggest, in many cases, you're not actually going to do turn-based combat. As weird as it is to say, you can have a lot more fun going solo when the turn-based combat is off, because you can do what's called kiting. You use spells like this to run around super fast, round up the whole room, retreat. They all climb around to you, try to shoot your ass, run around the corner. They clump up in a nice tight cluster. You pop around the corner and shoot them with an AoE beam or a cone like this when you've got them in the corner somewhere, or they got you, I should say, in the corner somewhere, and you get like 3 or 4 dudes with this spell. Normally you probably only hit 1 or 2 if you do turn-based combat. You can see how this is going to be fun for your character. Going. Notice now we have this cool spell or song. This is a song called Storm Call. So it will be a toggle you turn on and off, which means that, of course, that our lingering performance should work on it. Our charisma always. Perception was free. Nice trickery. And again, I want to stop at 14 because once I get Jack of all trades, this will jump up to a 15. Looking good. Keeping all our spells, always check. Happy with all these so far. Heroism, remember we just got close to being able to pick up Good Hope, which is better than Heroism. So if you wanted to get rid of Heroism, here's your chance. Get rid of it now. Not your only chance, but it's a good chance to do it. Get rid of it now, you'll have another 2 spell to pick in its place. What might you pick in its place? Well, there's a lot of good stuff in here. You want them goblins? How about that silent spell? Maybe you want the AoE heal. I would honestly go with this mirror image. Extra protection. You are soloing, right? So if you were doing that, you definitely want to be buffed. Level 3 spell, time to get yourself that Good Hope, and we just got rid of Heroism. You have kind of no choice in my mind, because this is a solid upgrade still. And again, the fact that you're doing extra damage is the other real selling point here. Bard, another song, Inspire Greatness is coming your way. More skills, sure. Got perception up. Trickery we're done with for the time being. If always, I'm not sure. I may heavily start investing in Persuasion to get it to catch up at this point. This is on you, but I don't mind that. Feet pick. Oh, damn it. Let's back out of here real quick. I wanted to gift you that belt of strength. So by now, you've probably found yourself... Well, first, let's just do a quick rest too. By now, you've probably found yourself a strength belt. So just type in belt of... Oops. Or type it in the right spot and search for it and get yourself your belt strength +4. Let's just assume that you found at least that. And you may have found the belt of strength and dex or whatever, but the point is you found something that puts you into the 13 or more for your strength. That was the key. If you do that, when you get to the point where you're leveling up, you'll notice that the power attack is now available to you, and that's what I'm going to suggest for you. Like I said, I would just do Piranha Strike, but that's on me. It's a subpar ability, and I know it's subpar. I don't care that it's subpar. It does what I need it to do, and I'm fine with that. But Everybody's different on this shit. So Piranha Strike is still giving the thumbs up because they know you're a dex-based character, but if you come down to the P's, you will see Power Attack is now available. Now, why is this important? Remember I told you it wasn't going to matter because you have a rapier that you can wield two-handed, so you can get extra damage with Power Attack on. This is something you cannot do with Piranha Strike. So if you go without a sword and board, or your rapier and board, which you can do, you'll be losing out on damage, but you will be hitting strong and you have extra armor. That's a solid choice. Take off that shield or switch to a different weapon category where it's just the rapier and no shield, so you got your spare hand free. You will wield that rapier two-handed and you'll get extra damage as a result of the Power Attack. Okay, same with longsword and some of these other one-handed weapons that you can wield two-handed. This is how you wield a bastard sword two-handed. You just have nothing in the offhand. For a Magus build, the downside is if you have spell combat and spell strike on, those two toggles that allow you to cast spells, one of which allows you to cast spells through your weapon, it assumes you want to do that, and then you will only wield that one-handed weapon, even a bastard sword, one-handed. If you want to switch back to two-handed, you need to shut both those toggles off. As a bard, you don't have that toggle, so you will wield two-handed if your open hand is free. Okay, we're gonna do Fear, Displacement, Deep Slumber. We got rid of Sleep a while ago. This is a nice spell. Might have wanted to grab that a little sooner than now, though, sadly. It's AoE, teammate friendly. It's just a bigger, better version of Sleep. 10 HD versus the 4. So again, this will last you for a good long while. Now, next upgrade. Now first, here, notice our Jack of all trades kicks in for all our skills +1. More skills, and we get another one of those damn performances. Perception's up. Trickery's done for the time being. If we ever touch it again, I'll get Persuasion up even higher. Now watch this. Again, I can go get one of these things. You can look at them. They're cool. We can get something like Persuasion now. But why? You know you're going to take Perception all the way to 20. Might as well finish it all the way to 20. So anything you're taking all the way to 20 should be the one that you focus on first. Okay? So we're taking both of these. So now you'll see when we click next, I'm going to get 5 more skills back. Why? Because the level 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 Perception, I invested in those. Remember? They'll give me those 5 back, and I will never have to invest in Perception again. It'll always go up. That's what this is doing for us. See the 5? Still at 10. Now, I can have some serious fun. And maybe Persuasion is going to go all the way to 20. Again, I'm more than happy to pick Persuasion twice. That gives me even more skill points than to shuffle back around, making me awesome. Level 2 spell. I'll take... I like that Path of Glory. It might be interesting to try it. If you want damage, though, I do like Blistering Invective for the chance to do fire damage on the fuckers. That's kind of funny. Well, level 4 new spells. Okay, let's look at these. Mass Daze. That's a new one. Just like it sounds. It's Daze Condition, but Mass. And there's no HD limit. Whereas Daze, when you're cantrip, by the way, had a cap to it. So you stopped using Daze very quickly. Dominate Person. I don't know if that was in the game before, but I think it was. But Greater Path of Glory. Remember, we just picked up Path of Glory. Look at this one. 1 round per level. Instead of healing 1, I heal 5. This might be the one to grab then, but there wasn't a whole lot at level 2 that I wanted anyway. This is a nice little healing buff for me and my team. But you could grab this one. We have Shadow Conjuration now. Oh yeah, grab that. There's an illusion spell. This is just like the other one, Shadow Enchantment, except for it's Wizard, Psychic, Sorcerer, Conjuration spells only. So Conjuration Summoning or Conjuration Creation spells of level 3 or lower. So you notice a pattern. This one was level 2 or lower enchantments. This one's level 3 or lower conjuration. So basically 1 level lower than the highest level that you're casting this at. Notice, again, same thing, will saves and spell resistance and all that shit's still applicable. There is some buffs in here. So notice that there is some issue with some of the buffs that you might cast on yourself where you try to disbelieve the illusion. Well, there's a way around it. I'll show it to you. It's not my favorite choice of doing things, but we can do it. And there's some really good buffs in some of these spells. So again, it's kind of annoying that you're trying to buff yourself and it still says will check. No, I don't want to will check, you jackass. So kind of annoying. But I'll show you a workaround at least to make it work. Otherwise it will fail on you in many cases. Notice other stuff that's in this list. Virtuoso Performance, I think, is new. Spell is active. You may start a second bardic performance. Look at that. While maintaining another. The second one costs 2 more rounds instead of 1 to cast it. So now you're burning 3 rounds total every round. Which, so what? I mean, to get it, it's totally worth, in my opinion. But notice this next part. When the spell ends, one of the performances ends immediately. Just cuts it off. So know that that's going to be a thing. This could be quite useful for a bard that wants to be buffed up, but I also want to have everyone scared of me at the same time. Well, that's 2 different types of songs. Well, which one are you going to use? I don't have to choose. I can see the appeal. Wall of Blindness, I'm sure that's a new one. And just like it should be, it's a fortitude save, or they're permanently blind. So again, a pretty decent necromancy spell. So again, you could have some serious fun in here. Serenity does damage. There's so many conjuration spells, of course, that do damage for you as well. I do like me some Dimension Door, though. My ability to teleport in and out of shit is key. Notice greater invisibility's in here. You better believe that's going to be the next one I grab, because you got that Sense Vitals, remember? So, but I do like Shadow Conjuration. I definitely want to make sure you grab that one. Bard. More skills. Notice you're up to a solid 5d8 of damage now per back down on that. Perception's always going up for free now. Gives me a chance to really catch these guys up now. So again, I can like double up on them if I want, or I can like juice up, use Magic Device to get it, to catch up, and you can see how we're going to have some serious fun with this build. First, we're keeping all our spells. Looks good, looks good. Maybe get rid of that for the better version, but again, we just picked it up, so I'd say no. Good Hope may go the way of the Dodo as well, because Greater Heroism is another spell that we're going to have access to. However, they don't cover everything. So if you look at the spell and what it does, +2 bonus, Greater Heroism is +4. And Greater Heroism gives temp HP, but Greater Heroism does not give damage buffs. Greater Heroism doesn't give, I want to say, ability check buffs. Might not even give skill checks, but it definitely does saving throws and attack and temp HP. So Greater Heroism and Good Hope could not stack, but layer in there where you're actually getting some buffs at +2, some buffs at +4, and some temp HP besides. So I might say keep all on that one. Other stuff though in here that you might want to get rid of, again, Deep Slumber. Remember, it caps out at 10 HD. You're not at level 11. The chances you're hitting more than one target with this is pretty fucking slim. So kind of kick it to the curb a little bit, but I'm you on that one. And I may be getting this wrong. I should be pointing this out. I may be getting this HD business wrong. I routinely make these mistakes. I assume that 10 HD means level 10 monster. Okay, because they don't have levels. They have HD. But I have other people have told me, no, that's not what that means. Like 4 HD for sleep. 4 HD monsters mean that every level that they have, they only get up to 4 HP hit points. Okay, so a level 10 HD monster would be a very tough monster. You see that? Because again, they would have 10 hit points per level. Doesn't matter they're level 1, level 10, level 20. They're getting 10 HP per level. So that might be a better spell than I think. But I swear, I think I remember HD is technically the level of the monster. So if I'm getting that wrong, I do apologize. Feel free to point that out down below. I will test it. I think I've tested it before, though. I think I'm right. But if not, I do apologize if I steer you the wrong direction. For stuff, before we grab more stuff here, it's entirely possible that we might get a better upgrade to our rapier. We could get improved critical for rapier. You might want to hold off on that. But notice that there's no fighter requirement for that. But there was a fighter level requirement for weapon specialization rapier. See that? Level focus 4. Or sorry, fighter level 4. Or fighter level technically 5 right now. 11 rounded down. So 11 cut in half is 5.5, round down to 5. So we can actually get this. This is a +2 to your damage. But remember, we just gave you a belt. We got power attacks. We got damage already. Do you really need another +2? Heck yeah, I do. Why is that a question? Do I need more damage? Really, bro? Come on, man. Okay, level 1 spell. Probably one more coming your way. If not, this might be the last one. If this is the last one, pick something good, in my opinion. What would that be? Remove Fear is not bad, but I do love my Unbreakable Heart. It's better because it covers more things. It doesn't last as long, though. It's like 1 round per level. But remember, we have Extend Meta Magic, so we can double the duration of this bastard, cast it at level 2, and it will be suddenly 2 rounds per level. And that's much better. So this is really nice, because this, especially if you're solo, it can protect you from a variety of those emotional effects they're trying to hit with fear, rage, Crushing Despair, all kind of confusion, fucks you over. And again, with no team to back you up, you get hosed real fast if you're not in control of your character. So I don't mind Unbreakable Heart. Level 3, I'm going to grab myself what? This is our replacement, I think. Wall of Nausea still sounds like fun. Haste is, of course, amazing. Displacement's a good choice. Crushing Despair is a good choice. There's a lot of good in here. We'll probably get a bunch of stuff. Let's play around, though. Let's get that Wall of Nausea. That does sound like fun. And was that an illusion? It was an illusion. So you got a bonus to the DC check on that shit as well. Level 4 spell. Remember I said I was grabbing it? I'm grabbing it now. Greater Invis. Want to be able to set ourselves up for that Sense Vitals love. Keep going. Got the ability to AoE heal you and your team if you're taking a team, or at least you and your pets. More Charisma. Notice that you just got an extra level 2 spell. It's not bad. And a bonus to your Persuasion and Use Magic Device as well. Let's get those guys up, and there. Now, we have a level 4 spell. Freedom of Movement is a staple. However, while I do love not being paralyzed, especially if I'm running solo, there is a good rapier in the game that when you have it in your little fisties, you will have this free of charge. Now, I do know that, so that's kind of cheesing it. But if you found it by this point, I would grab it. Because again, I would just make sure that if I'm coming into an area where I know they're going to try to paralyze me or slow me down with like web spells or whatever, slow spells, then I just make sure I'm using that rapier. But that's on you to make that call. If not, though, I do highly recommend this spell. Because again, you do not want to play solo and get paralyzed. And you'll notice like we're missing out on things like Shout. And I really want to get that spell, or Serenity. You really want to get some damaging spells, don't you? But you do have Shadow Conjuration, and it covers a lot more than you think. Bard. Notice that we have now Swift Action Bard. Remember, we have that ability to activate a song and turn it right the fuck back off. Now we can do it as a swift action. We don't miss our movement. We don't miss our ability to attack. That's really, really powerful character now. More skill. Sounds good. Grab that, and that, and a couple for you. From here, I'm going to grab... Keeps trying to sell you that Piranha Strike. Don't do it. You already got your power attack. You know you're good. I'm going to get probably like extra songs, quite frankly. Notice there's other stuff, though, that shows up for being the Bard. I should have pointed this out to you. Again, show up at level 8. Whenever you're using a Bardic Performance to create a spell-like or supernatural effect, allies deal 1d6 of extra sonic damage with their weapons. And that includes their ranged weapons. So this is, for a teammate build, this is, or like a summoning build for that matter, this might work on your summoned pets where they just do sonic damage if you have this feat picked. But you'd have to have a song going. Basically, it just gives them sonic damage on top of their normal damage. It's pretty badass. But I just point out that there's some interesting things that you can definitely do with these two mods. Level 3, going to grab myself what now? I do like haste. I'm going to mark it and keep looking. I do like displacement as well. But we've just got greater invis. So if we're going to get another one, we'll probably grab displacement or crushing despair or fear. All viable options. But we got to be picky and choosy here. For level 5, new spells. Archon's Trumpet, kind of lame, in my opinion. Got a decent cone, not teammate friendly, but if you're running solo, who cares? It's basically just a 1 to 4 round paralysis spell. And again, because there's a die roll there, that means it probably can be empowered and or maximized. So guaranteeing 4 rounds. Now, of course, they can make their check. They can have spell resistance and all that shit's still applicable. But think about AoE paralysis. Right? That's not bad. That could be some serious fun, especially on a team. But we're definitely getting that greater bladed dash. That's the one, like I said, in a straight line, you hit. It's basically just blade dash, but on crack. It's just an amazing fuck you spell. And again, if I can get that on every Magus build, you better believe every Magus build from this point forward is going to have it, because it's an amazing spell. Mass Cacophonous Call, I think that was always there. Mind Fog, Kind of Shout, all that shit's still there. Shadow Evocation was always there, haha, but the modder modded it. It's every evocation spell level 4, because it's a level 5 spell, on down. So when it still has the same 5 that was always in there. So your Fireball, your Lightning Bolt, Ice Storm, Volcanic Storm, and Shout are all in there, right? But then they added every other evocation spell that's on the list from level 4 on down. That includes Dragon's Breath is in there, and a bunch of other shit. So you have a lot of, like, Burning Arc is in here, Burning Hands is in here. There's a lot of good shit that you get from that now. So there's a lot of bang for your buck. And that is the last spell on this list for level 5 that's unique. And again, pointing out that it is an illusion spell. Remember, you are a gnome. From here, we've got our Greater Storm Call on, so 5d6 of damage. Remember, we have that beautiful ability to activate our song and shut it right the fuck back off again if you're in the midst of battle. On off. 3 rounds of 5d6, 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 and if there's a storm brewing or you got that badass air elemental, that might work on this too, I don't know that. But if there's a storm outside, it's 5d10, 5d10, 5d10. That's pretty badass. That's free. Remember, that's a swift action for you to turn that on now, but thanks to this little bastard right here. So on, off, thanks to that little goober, it's going to be 3 rounds of free damage for you. Electric damage, of course. And it's teammate friendly because it just picks a random bad guy and blaps him. So you can't really control that, though. Another Versatile Performance. Have some more fun here now. Okay, remember, Perception's always free. We got Persuasion catch up finally. These guys are looking really nice. And Use Magic Device is looking fucking pretty. Well, now, what do we grab here? Well, we got 2 more choices to go. Notice we can get another Martial Performance. Do you want to get a different weapon other than a rapier? These short swords are in here. We got short bows. Short bow. Wait, what? Is that what that is? See, it says short bow. That seems wrong. Ray spells either in here. That's weird, man. Whatever. Oh, but that actually could be pretty cool on a different build if you had like ray spells, because you get martial performance ray. Remember, that gives you weapon focus ray, and allows you to qualify for ray fighter feats for ray spells. So that's weapon specialization and point blank master are all hidden behind the wall of are you high enough fighter level. That could be interesting, but I don't think you have ray spells in this build, so it's kind of wasted in here. I would not grab this though. I would probably either grab a performance. There's some good ones in here. Again, I love my Blazing Rondo for my ability to basically be hasted with the activation of a song. And remember, I can turn that on and shut it right the fuck back off, and that's 3 rounds of me being hasted. But remember, Fortitude check. This Masterpiece DC, that's bad. So you're really good at DC checks. Or you're fatigued for twice as many rounds as you were affected, which kind of sucks. But again, you can do this one. If not, remember, you got these other things that we could buff up. Persuasion, for example. Remember, I'm taking it to 20. Getting one of these gives me 10 points back for free for every even number. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So I'm going to get 7 back right now. Then 16, 18, and 20 will be free if I keep pushing Persuasion. Why not? So I highly recommend that you grab this. And again, that's 7 more skills for us to put somewhere. See? So now we can kick you up, catch you up there, get you a little bit of loving. Maybe you want to go back into Trickery again. Or maybe you just, I always liked mobility, or stealthing was always my thing. Whatever, man. What do you want to do? But nothing's set in stone. Do what you want. Spell-wise, we're keeping all our spells. Looking good. Looking real good here. Keep going. Again, I think I'll keep Good Hope. I think we'll keep them all. Level 2. I'm going to grab me. What am I going to grab? Delay Poison could be fun. And that's not a bad idea for you too, since you are running solo, the ability to make yourself immune. But I could keep scrolls of that on hand. So, Silence. We're missing out on Silence, I think. There you go. Thought we grabbed that though. Anyway, level 5. What am I grabbing here? Mind Fog. Remember I said there's a trick for all those buffs that we can put on ourselves, whether it's evocation spells. Remember, there's some evocation spells that are buffs. There's some conjuration spells, like Mage Armor is a buff. There is a really good enchantment that they added to this game, thanks to Call of the Wild, that is a buff. You will do a will save check on that shit though. So if you make that check, you fucked yourself. Well, if you stand in your Mind Fog and fail it, leave the Mind Fog. Obviously this is pre-buffing, or sorry, pre-buffing up, but also pre a fight. So you don't do this in the middle of a fight. You cast Mind Fog, step in it, fail it somehow. You just go back in and out until you fail it. When you fail it, leave, buff up, buff up. Why? Because you'll do a will save still, but your will saves are in the fucking toilet. Because you're at a -10 wisdom, wisdom checks, and -10 to will saves. So that -10 to will saves just boned you. And you have a much better chance now of passing those will saves with the buffs. I know it's stupid, man, but it works. I tested it myself, and there's a really good enchantment. I'll show it to you. I'm not going to tell you anything. I want you to be surprised. It's fucking cool, though, and you're definitely going to like it. If you took Power Attack or Piranha Strike, let's just say it that way, you're going to like it. Bard. Notice that we're getting up to 78 of damage now with those blam blam blams. We can inspire heroics now if you so choose. More skill points. Again, free, not free yet. Next level it will be though. And I'm gonna put both those up to make sure they're maxed out. And then notice that I got 3 points to go. Boom, boom, and boom. Nice. You're a tricky little character, aren't you? Alright, now I think it's time for you to go in on that damn rapier. Improved critical rapier. If you didn't pick it up by now, here's your chance. Make sure that you have a critting weapon that crits high, right? And there's plenty of, sorry, let me go back real quick. So notice that we grabbed like Fencing Grace and now Improved Critical. So now there's keen rapiers in the game. Don't kid yourself. There's plenty in the game. Also, there's agile rapiers in the game. So Fencing Grace is useless on those ones. So what? You do want it for all the rapiers that don't have it. That's the point here. So until that time, find yourself a keen rapier, and you'll still be fine until you get this guy. Find yourself an agile rapier until you get to this level, and again, you're fine for all rapiers at that point. So there's reasons to want them still, is my point. But you can get around it. Level 5 spell, I'm going to grab me Kai's Shout because we're missing it. And we will get Greater Heroism before too long, don't feel bad. But I wanted you to get some goddamn damage. I know Shadow Evocation is adding a lot, don't kid yourself, but Kai's Shout still 20d6 of single target, fuck you damage. You know you want it. Going Bard. Skill rank. More Charisma. Free and free. Gotta love those. And now, extra points. Loving it. Level 4 spell. In this list. I don't want Ball of Blindness. Virtuoso Performance could be fun, like I said. Grab that if you feel that's your thing. Shout. We can grab that now too. Remember, we got it for free though with Shadow Evocation. So, kind of backpedaling at this point. Serenity is interesting, but we're going to actually get that for free before too long. Again, I'll show it to you. Trust me, it's funny as fuck. But again, you can grab it at level 4. There's nothing wrong with that. Rainbow Pattern, on the other hand, is a solid illusion spell. This is, again, teammate friendly. You can cast it at your feet, and it's an amazing fuck you spell for the amount of HD it affects. So good until the end of the game, in my opinion. And you just slap it at your feet. You can be in the circle. So if you get caught in the corner, Rainbow Pattern, and everyone's just twinkle, twinkle, staring at it, dazed, and you go through individually and just kill everybody. So very useful spell, in my opinion. Keeps the bad guys off you. But you grab Hold Monster is a solid spell. Dominate Person's a good choice. Hell, even Break Enchantment has its uses, but only on a team. Well, that's not true. If you're cursed, this will break the curse. If you've been transmuted into a dog, you can't cast spells, so this is useless for you. But if you're under the effect of an enchantment, a bad one, obviously, Break Enchantment could help you out. So it's worth thinking about at the very least. Level 6 now. Here we go. Last round of free spells. New spells, sorry. Bring Inspiration, like I said, I think this actually came from Eldritch Arcana. This does work, by the way. The 2 die rolls, and whichever is the best is the one that it takes. And when you roll a nat 20, it breaks. So you buff yourself with this little fucker, and then you actually be happy for a good long while until you roll that nat 20. So keep an eye on it. Make sure you still have the buff on you, because it will wear off faster than you think. As far as new stuff, Otto's Irresistible Dance, I know I didn't call it that, but it's what it is. This is an amazing spell as an enchantment. For those of you that don't know, there's like 2 spells that are typically associated to me with bards. One is the Tasha's Hideous Laughter, which we have picked up. We didn't call it Tasha, but it's the original creator, supposedly, of the spell. And Otto's Irresistible Dance. So one to make people happy and laugh, one to make them fucking dance. This is like a free, crowd control spell. But literally screws them over like they're at a massive penalty, and all they can really do is dance and play, tap their toes, and all this funny shit. And again, it's pretty damn funny. Notice that the dancing subject provokes attacks of opportunity each round on its turn. Successful will save reduces the duration of this effect to 1 round. So even for 1 round, they're boned. Which is kind of nice, but there's still spell resistance, but I love save and not necessarily suck spells. So it's save and something still happen spell. And those are kind of nice. But that's not the reason that we wanted to get you to level 6. This is the reason we wanted to get you to level 6. Oh my fucking god! Greater Shadow Enchantment. Any enchantment spell now level 5 on down. And again, yes, we have This one, it is the same list and then some. So again, this is the big brother version. Now, again, you may say, oh, then I don't need the other one. Why not? It's level 3 casting. I don't mind keeping some of the level 3 stuff, and the buffs that you want are in here. So I'll keep this one just for the buff alone, and then use this one for the heavy hitting shit. And there's a lot of enchantments, man, and like a lot of enchantments. So this is really, really powerful for a bard, especially if you went enchantment as like a spell of focus, which we still have yet to do, but you could do that. Other stuff, Greater Song of Discord is new. This one's interesting, but I don't particularly care. And I'm certainly not happy about making the bad guys, giving them a +4 to strength, because fuck you. Why would I give the bad guys more strength? There's a reason for this. It's +4 to their strength, and they attack the nearest target. So obviously you cast it at distance, and if they're at distance, it hits them, they turn on them friends, and beat the shit out of them with a bonus to strength. So you can see the appeal. But once all their friends are dead, they're coming after you, and now they got a +4 to strength thanks to you. Good job, buddy. I can't imagine I'd want that spell. It could be fun. It's definitely fun to watch. A Greater Shout, of course, is a staple for you. You definitely want it. I'm not going to take it right now. Huge Elemental, on the other hand. Remember I said that you had that song, or song that you make the little lightning storm? The lower version says that if you have at least the lesser version of this, the level 5 version, I just can't think of the name, summon large elemental. If it's the air elemental spins in a big tornado circle. It's one of his attacks. It's called Whirlwind. If you have him doing that, while you have that little lightning storm on, instead of doing 3d6, it does 3d10. Now, I don't know that it works for the 5d6 to 5d10 because it doesn't say it does in the tooltip, so I would assume that it doesn't. That doesn't mean you don't want this. Because again, especially if you're soloing, having a pet that you can just, one round, here's a big motherfucking earth golem, deal with him, prick. And again, it's a full round to cast it, but that doesn't mean you can't do a swift action. Remember, you can cast your songs as swift actions now. Well, what song could you cast? How about the Lightning Storm song? Cast that little fucker and turn that on immediately, then summon this motherfucker out, whatever one of the 4 that you pick. He'll go to town, and every once in a while, bam, lightning bolt down on one of the bad guys. Yes, it may not be 5d10, but it's 5d6, and you still did damage, and you still have a pet on the battlefield now, helping you out. Just saying, there's some reasons to want to have it still, even if it doesn't help you with that air elemental version. Okay? Going. Keep going. Keep going. More. I want more. Awesome. Looking real good here, fellas. And man, that Trickery's looking real pretty now, isn't it? Now, skipping over here first. Any spell we're getting rid of. Bladed Dash, we could get rid of it. I'm not saying you have to. There's still uses for it. But I do like the line of sight one where you hit multiple dudes. But again, if you want to keep the single one, it's cheap and easy to cast. You got plenty of those spells still. And it does help you teleport around in combat. So I can't say get rid of it, but I would check to make sure there's not something else you want to get rid of. Like if you found out that silence isn't working anymore, if Wall of Nausea wasn't as cool as you thought, I'm keeping every damn Shadow Evocation, Concentration, Enchantment spell ever. So don't even bother looking at that. Path of Glory, remember you get the better version now if you wanted to. Invigorate, you get the better version now if you wanted to. Again, whatever. But there's not a whole lot of reason to drop the ones that we have here, so I think we'll just keep everything. Fuck it. Over here, on the other hand. Is there anything else you wanted for your weapon? Well, notice we have Greater Weapon Focus. Is there anything else that we're missing out on? Piranha Strike, don't need it. Greater Weapon Focus, Point Blank Shot, no. Keep coming, keep coming, keep coming. Remember, random stuff is going to pop up in here because your fighter levels have changed. Remember, you're considered fighter level 8 now. So, and that's a milestone for many cases. So again, keep an eye out for some shit. You'll be looking and going, like, oh shit, I didn't know that was available. So look for stuff. If we don't find anything, Extra Performances is probably my go-to. If not, I don't mind Spell Focus, Illusion, or Enchantment. You have plenty of both. But Illusion is your cup of tea. Furious Focus, that's actually a very cool new one, by the way. A two-handed wielding ship. I'll show you that in a different build, but definitely some fun to be had. Hurtful, another solid one. When you successfully demoralize an opponent within your melee range with an intimidation check, like say you did Cornigan Smash on the motherfucker, or Dreadful Carnage, you can make a single attack against that creature as a swift action. Well, Dreadful Carnage killed him, but maybe you have one of his allies you scared right next to you, and now you do attack of opportunity as a swift action on that son of a bitch. If your attack fails to damage the target, its shaking condition from being demoralized will immediately end, so be wary. But this could be a really good Cornigan Smash build with Hurtful in there. Just wanted to point that out to you. Mage Tattoo, we don't have any spell focus yet, so that's not any good to you right now. I don't want Martial Weapon Proficiency either, but what else was our choices? Another Meta Magic, there's nothing wrong with some of those. Again, Reach is a solid choice. We can still grab that Intensified if you so choose. And there's even different ones in here. Notice that they're duplicates. One comes from the Eldritch Arcana, one comes from the Call of the Wild. And I think they all work, so don't worry about that too much. Multi-attack, that's only if you're like meleeing with like natural weapons and bite attacks and shit, but it's very powerful. Prodigious 2-weapon fighting. Now this is an interesting one. Notice that it's a strength-based 2-weapon fighting feat. Why is it always that a 2-weapon fighter build always has to be strength-based? Because the devs have decided so. Well, here's Prodigious 2-weapon fighting. I've seen plenty of movies online where people are swinging like scimitars and dual-wielding like long swords and shit. And why can't I? Well, here's your chance to. You could have always have done it, but you're at like a massive penalty to your swing. Remember, it's like -4 to your swing. And that's even if you pick up 2-weapon fighting. And to grab 2-weapon fighting, you need to have a dex of 15 minimum. Again, yes, that can come from a belt or whatever. Not the point. It's annoying. Well, watch this one. This does not give you 2-weapon fighting. What does it do? It allows you to treat your offhand weapon, even if it's not a light weapon, like a longsword, as if it were, guess what, a light fucking weapon. So now if you wanted to dual wield rapiers, buddy, you can do so. Rapiers are not considered light weapons. As weird as it is to say. They're considered normal finessable weapons, yes, not light. So if you want to rapier it up, here you go. You have that ability now. Yes, you still do not have 2-weapon fighting though. But again, keep reading. If you don't have enough dex to qualify for 2-weapon fighting, you may replace your strength modifier for your strength score instead of your dex score. So again, to get 2-weapon fighting, you need a dex of 15, or now a strength of 15 if you grab this feat. If you grab improved 2-weapon fighting, you need a dex of 17 or a strength of 17. You get the pattern we're going with here. And then greater 2-weapon fighting, the last one, you have a dex of 19 or a strength of 19. You can see how a lot of my builds now that are 2-weapon fighting son of a bitches, or could have been because their strength is going to be like 20 plus. You better believe I'm going to fucking long sword it up, bitch, or scimitar, whatever. Point is, I'll be a strength-based character and 2-weapon wielding and choppy, having all kinds of fun. Another fun one here is called Riving Strike. We could have grabbed this at level like 1. If you grab Arcane Strike, which we've had since level 1, you can grab this thing. What happens? If you hit them with your weapon with Arcane Strike on, which it should almost always be on, you do extra damage, right? But, keep reading. If you hit them with that weapon, they take a -2 penalty to their saving throws against spells and spell-like abilities for 1 round. Now, on a solo build, I don't know if that helps you at all. Because you're going to attack, and you're done. Next round comes along, you can hit them with a spell. Is that part of the 1 round, or is the 1 round already expired at the start of your turn? I don't know that. See that? But that'd be something worth testing. I'm not going to grab it, but it's something you could look at. Again, notice you do have the ability to use a shield. You've always had the ability to use a shield and cast spells with that fucking shield, and that's heavy shield, light shield, bucklers. That's a laundry list of buff you could have, and we can give you shield focus, baby. Why not? Or give you shield bash, shield, all kinds of weird shit. Again, on you. I'm not doing it, but you could have. Signature skill, I have no idea what this is. See, oh, signature skill intimidate. Okay, what's this? Persuasion of 5. If you exceed the DC to demoralize a target by at least 10, is fright for 1 round in addition to being shaken. A will save, DC 10 plus your number of ranks in intimidate. Oh my god. Negates the frightened condition, but the target is still shaken even if it has the stalwart ability. Holy Jesus. When you earn 15 ranks in persuasion, the duration of frightened state is increased to 1d4 rounds. What the fuck is that? I didn't even know about that one, guys. Every time I click on signature skill, I clicked on it early levels and it never showed up anything over here. So that's cool. I don't know what that is, but whatever. I'm assuming this is something that unlocks at a certain level of bard. Like it says right here that you need a persuasion of 5 before it even showed up. I kept probably clicking it at level 3. But that's cool. I'm not saying that I want it for this build, but that could be some fun for like a Corning and Smash build. You saw what I did, right? That could be fun. Spell of Focus, like I said, Illusion is probably what we're going to grab here. But we got other stuff in here. Spontaneous Meta Focus, I don't even know what that is. Pick a single spell that you're able to cast spontaneously. When you apply meta magic feats to that spell, you can cast a spell using the normal casting time instead of the slower casting time. Okay, so you are a spontaneous caster as a bard. We have meta magic, only 1, but any spell you cast from this point on with that meta magic on it, Takes a full round, whether it did or not. It will always be a full round to cast it. Even if it says, oh, it's normally a standard action, I don't care. It's a full round. You'll be whoop-a-jibba-jibbing it up just to make sure it's extended. So what? The reason we extend them is because either A, we want the penalty to the bad guys last long, so I don't mind that, and B, we'll use it for buffing ourselves up pre-combat, so it doesn't matter if it takes a full round. But now you have at least one spell that you can pick where it's fired off like it's normal speed, even if it's meta magic, which is not bad. It's not great, but it's still kind of cool. Steadfast personality. Look at this. Add your charisma modifier, which you're awesome at, instead of your wisdom bonus to will saves against mind affecting effects. If you have a wisdom penalty, you must apply both your wisdom penalty and your charisma modifier. So basically, if your wisdom was 10, it would be no big deal. Since ours is minus 1 here because it's 8, it'd be a 6 plus 6 minus 1, so a total plus 5. So it's still worth grabbing that. That's not another bad idea. That's pretty badass. That's amazing. Will saves like fucking through the, not all will saves, but most of them through the roof. What else we got here? Fighting, of course. I was looking for something. What was I looking for? Oh, it's in the high unavailable. Yeah, we're getting the P categories. Extra spell synthesis, extra lesser spell synthesis. Oh, I got all kinds of cool stuff. Where is our P? Where's my PP? PP. There it is. Fight a little talk. Baboo! I'm not gonna get it. Okay. I guess I'll take Still Focus Illusion. Penetrating Strikes is amazing, and it's a fighter feat. I thought maybe it'd be like fighter level 8. I should have known better. It's the only one that you can grab with a Sword Saint. That's why Sword Saints are awesome. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not that unhappy. You'll be fine. Cry, baby. I'm gonna grab you. What? Fear? Displacement? Displacement. Or Crushing Despair. This is probably your last level 3 spell. Be real clear on this. Unless you sub something out, which I can't imagine you're going to want to. Level 6, we got those two. We're pretty happy about that. Greater Shout's still waiting for you. Irresistible Dance, though. That still sounds like fun, doesn't it? I know I want it. And you want Brilliant Inspiration, and you also want Greater Shout. So those will probably be the last ones we grab here. But I'll take Irresistible Dance, Greater Shout, and then if I have another one, I'll grab Brilliant Inspiration. If we can get it in the build. Going Bard. Now remember, we just picked up our Versatile Persuasion, right? Now watch this. More skill. Always capped up. Kappa. Wait. Expand the Persuasion. We're going to get ourselves 9 more back. Bam! And these two will never need us to invest in them again. It'll be 20 and 20 by the end of the build here. That's amazing. And so I can get all these guys for sure caught up. Even this guy. And then some. Oh, what the hell? Let's get some. Nah, let's grab some stealth just to be a dick. Pretty sweet, right? Love those abilities. Level 6. What did I say? I was grabbing a Greater Shout. Yeah. I should have mentioned that Overwhelming Presence is in here too, and that's another amazing spell. And I should be looking for more illusion spells, but I'm happy with the ones that we've grabbed, quite frankly. I'm loving this though. There's so many skill points, and you did not have that high of an intelligence, man. Very, very nice. Now, last one, again, Greater Spell Focus Illusion. If you want to go all in on them illusion spells, well, you can do it. Remember, you get +2, +3 thanks to you being a gnome. Or you can grab another spell focus. Maybe you want spell focus enchantment or evocation. Up to you. We can get a greater weapon focus for that goddamn rapier of yours if you so choose. There's other stuff in here, I'm sure, that may have been like fighter level stuff with that rapier. But again, you don't really need another +1. And you may say, well, but I have power attack on. I'm going to be at like a -4 to my swing. And I say, are you? Are you going to be at a -4 to your swing? Let's find out, class. Wait till you get to level 20 and I'll show you what I mean. Level 5 spell, last one here. Missing that Greater Heroism. It's a damn shame too, because I'm also missing Phantasmal Weapon. I don't mind the Greater Heroism because of +4, and no, this was not my way of getting around your -4 penalty to your power attack. It's just a little gravy on top, but I have a way to make that penalty go away. I'm going to show it to you. But it's hard. Hard to do it. Level 20 Bard. Now you got your little death song. Kick it. Alright, 24 Charisma. Notice your spells level 3 jumped up. 777, 666. Yes, that's a sign of something horrible. Keep doing those things. Looking real pretty. Maxed out Trickery, Arcana World, Knowledge World, Perception, Persuasion, and Use Magic Device. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things you fucking maxed out on. These two are dumb. If you honestly wanted to take those away and put them into stealth or mobility or even athletics, whatever, go ahead and do that thing. But again, if you're doing the checks by yourself early levels, at least that is helpful. It's not that helpful. But you can do whatever you want with those points. Spells, do we need to get rid of something? Okay, let's look. No, keep it. Not even that one of them. Path of Glory might still be another one that we could say, nah. Or Invigorate, nah. I say we just keep what we got, bro. Maybe Bladed Dash again. If you don't feel like you're using it enough, fuck it. But I still maintain you probably want the lower version too. Notice we're getting a level 4 spell. We're missing Shout, but remember you got Shout and Shadow Evocation over here. And we got that way early, so I'm not worried about missing out on it. Serenity is another one of those enchantments that we can cast. Remember you have level 5 enchantments on down, thanks to this little fucker, the Greater Shadow enchantment. So we have Serenity for free, and any other enchantment that you see in here is probably on your list. Dominate Person, Mass Daze. Again, yes, it's a level 6 casting, but so what? If you want it, you got it. So I would look outside of the box, so to speak. Notice we have our Summon Elementals, Summon Monsters. Well, that's the other thing I'm missing over here. Is a goddamn monster. You'll probably have to grab that at level 6. What might you grab then? I might grab you. Blind Sight. Alright. Why not? And again, you're a bard. Screaming at things makes sense to me. Echolocation. I'm going to grab, again, Brilliant Inspiration is amazing. We're not going to grab it. It does work. There's another trick in here, though, with enchantments that can get you something extremely similar, if not better. And I'll show you that here in a mo. Overwhelming Presence is another solid choice, an enchantment spell, but this is the Overwhelming Grief on crack. It's the AoE version of it, teammate friendly, and massive wisdom penalties, which of course has a will casting son of a bitch. Remember, illusion and enchantments are almost always will saves. When they take that wisdom penalty, all your other spells are going to have a better chance of landing. This is an amazing spell. Greater Song of Discord. I didn't even look at this one. This is the one that's a bonus to their strength and they attack the closest target. It's weird. I don't want it. I do want to summon Monster 6 though, because again, with you being evil, you can summon a Soul Eater or multiple red caps. That's why we went evil. If you were not evil, and again solo, you can pull this off. You get the Berlani Azadas and the Axiomite. Both those fuckers like to cast Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Bolt, without any concern for your team or you. So if it's just you, you can probably manage these guys a little better. So again, you could go on good or neutral. I still like this one because again, I do like that Soul Eater. He's a mean son of a bitch. He looks like he's undead, but he's not. And he's definitely fun. That's the build. Now, let us put stuff in places. First of all, let's get rid of those. That. Over here. Put it in our songs, and I'll even take these things off because you know they're there. Your aid, other, your heal skill. But I'll put in, well, let's do a quick rest first, sorry. Just to make sure all your stuff is recharged and at full. Okay, we have Thundercall. You know you're putting that somewhere over here. Notice your power attack will fall off if you start taking off your strength gear, so be real careful on that shit. And yes, I will show you a trick. Remember, you got -4 power attack. I can get you that 4 points back. And I don't mean by getting greater heroism or some other buff. No, I mean something that counters the penalty. I'll show it to you. It's hard to do it. We can do it. Notice that we have Thundercall, we have the Soothing Performance, another one that's a clickable, so click, click, so this is a click, bam. This is a click AoE heal, will center on you, it'll be a, what version of it? Cure Serious Wounds, Mass Cure Serious Wounds, just boom. And it also cures fatigue, sick, and shaken conditions for everyone that's in the effect, of course on the team, of course. It uses 4 charges, that's why you see the 55 is actually 13 here, because it's 13 times 4 would be 52. Not enough for the 14th charge. So it uses up quite a bit. So use sparingly. But know that this could make you an awesome healer. And it says it centers on you, and it says it heals the red guys, so this might be something you only do outside the combat, but be careful with that. If you're healing the bad guys with it, that's dumb. Don't do that. We have, of course, our Death Song, as well as our Inspired Courage Song. I'm sorry, I got that down there. As well as our Fascinate Song, as well as our Rage Song. More useful against enemies than you think. Notice our Storm. I'm going to put that over here because it does damage. Song and our Inspired Greatness and our Inspired Heroics. More than we can put in here is my point. Maybe I'll do it like that, because damage, and then a click, right? Keep them all together. But I want to talk about the rage song. Incite rage, there's 3 choices. You can incite rage for enemies, incite rage for you, or your team, or incite rage for everyone, good guys and bad guys. Now, why would you do such things? Well, first, it's a buff. You can see why you buff your team. Notice, remember, just as a reminder, remember there is the reject rage ability. So if I were to buff my team, they can say, fuck you, I'm a wizard. I don't want to be raging. Reject rage. This is what this is for, I believe. I haven't tested it, but that makes perfect sense, and I think it's a toggle. So it says rage spell or scald songs, and I'm assuming the same applies for this song here, this type of song, incite rage. So if that's true, we can make the team rage selectively, just the people that would benefit from it, the fighters, the barbarians, the whoever else could rage. So you can see the fun you can have here. Clerics, pre-buff up, don't cast spells, rage like crazy. You can have some fun. Rangers, same difference. But why would you want to rage the enemies? Remember, when you rage, you cannot cast spells, unless you're, of course, a Blood Rager. More on that later. The game normally doesn't have Blood Ragers in it. We have the Blood Rager abilities now, thanks to these mods, but that doesn't mean the game knows that. So most people, if not all the people that you fight, if you can make them rage, they can't cast spells now. So it's a good way for you to straight up fuck over their casters. Now, again, could they be immune to rage? Sure. Could they be immune to songs? Sure. Is there a save? You better believe it if it's a penalty to them, and it is. So there's a save, like a will save. But if they fail it, boom, they're raging. And yes, they're stronger, they're tougher, they have better will saves, but they have lower armor. So it's easier for you and your team, if you have one, to hit them. It's easier for them to hit you, since the raging making them stronger, more likely than not. That's probably how they're going to hit you, so that sucks. But again, you can see that there's some uses to it, is my point. Now, buff-wise or spell-wise, let's take all these off of here. I'm not going to go through the laundry list of spells to meta magic them up. You will do that naturally. Once you get any meta magic, I always recommend that at every level, or at every level as well as every new spell pick, that you go through, check your book to see if there's another version of it you can cast. So you can extend this, you can extend this, you can extend all these, and I believe it. Every last one of these, even ear-piercing scream, has a duration. You may not think about it, but remember, it's a day's effect for 1 round. If they make their save, nothing happens. They take half damage, and there's no day's effect. But if you extended that thing and they fail it, remember, you have a pretty good chance of making sure that shit sticks. If they fail that, their day's down for 2 rounds. You can see the appeal, especially running solo. Definitely can see the appeal for here. Bladed Dash is instantaneous. No damage, or sorry, no duration to it, just damage. You're done. So obviously you can't do that. And there's nothing else you can do with this. Maybe you could reach this. The range is close range, and if that's true, that could be some serious fun you could have with this. Teleporting even farther? Yes, please, especially with the greater Bladed Dash, but I kind of doubt that one. I'll explain why when we get there. But again, definitely want to have your blur extended. Path of Glory, healing for longer, sure. Silence, screw those guys over. And again, not just that, you can screw them over. You can screw them over at level 3 spell and a level 2 spell. Remember, because you've extended it, it's going to be 1 level higher. So more chances for you to cast it. It's one of the reasons I love the meta magics for you. Shadow Enchantment, and same with like Shadow Conjuration. You may not think of any of those spells as having duration. If even one does, then you can increase the duration with Extend Meta Magic this way. So like, for example, Shadow Evocation, Fireball, you can't extend it, but you'll better believe when I get to that spell, it'll have a pip on it, which means you can cast an extended version of Fireball. Does it do anything to it? No, but it casts it at a higher level. So instead of it being level 5, it'll be a level 6. Why is that important? Again, if I run out of level 5 spells and I only have a level 6, but I really need that Fireball, you have it, right? So again, you'll go through all of these. I'm not going to make them, but again, know that you're going to do this for everything. So you will have a very fleshed out spellbook. Notice also we didn't take additional traits. I knew I forgot something. Damn it. I need to write this stuff down. But you probably could have or should have. Up to you. If you were Tiefling, I would have made sure to have. But again, there's plenty of good stuff to be had. Here's my point. And then notice that you can extend and meta magic. These will do you no good unless you take those meta magic traits. Because again, you can't cast level 7 spells. But, for example, say I know I love this spell and I'm going to get it. I could have picked up that meta magic trait under the magic category called Meta Magic Master or some shit like that. And it would open up a spell list from level 1 through 9. One of these spells would be in here. Grab this one. make it the extended version, and now I can cast it even though it should be level 7. Because of that trait, it'll come back to level 6, and I can actually have this spell available to me enhanced. That could have been intensified, that could have been reached, that could have been extended. Anything that would increase it only 1 level, because with that trait it takes 1 level away. So 6 goes to 7, 7 goes right back to 6 because of that trait. But again, only 1 spell you get to pick at a time. There's 2 traits that you can do this. One will pick any spell level 1 through 9. Another one will pick any spell level 1 through 3. So make sure you're grabbing the right one. Obviously this would have to be the 1 through 9 one, so you can grab a level 6 spell. But again, this is where, again, if you planned it out better than I did, because I'm doing this shit on the fly, you could have had a lot more fun. You could have a better, more precise picks. You could have had a lot more useful build, in my opinion. But now you know that. Now you know to go back and fix it. But this is, again, a solid choice, I think. And again, you would have done all these meta magics up. Now let's actually put stuff away. I will just put in some general attack spells. You know, Grease is always amazing. And again, you may think, well, you have Shadow Conjuration. Do I need any of these conjuration spells, those low-level ones? Because I can cast Grease now as an illusion. Remember, you get a bonus to your illusion spells. We got Spell Focus, no less, in illusion. So again, you got plenty of bang for your buck here, being a gnome. And casting illusion spells, so they're not really helping you out. But remember, they can make those saves and disbelieve the illusion, and now it doesn't affect them at all. So still have 1 or 2 of these conjuration spells lounging around. They're still useful, right? Just saying, there's reasons to want some of those things. I'm not going to put Invigorate over there because we're probably not going to make ourselves tired. But I will grab Sense Vitals, and you better believe I'm going to grab me some Greater Invis. As far as other stuff, no, let's move these up just 1 more because I do want to have my blur. Like so. And again, you would do mirror image and blah, blah, blah too. But know that I'm going to put attack spells low to high here, ones that I know that are going to be straight up attack spells, stuff that will damage targets like Thundering Drums. I'll happily take, no, that's not an attack spell. Key Shout. I'm going to take Greater Shout, sure, why not? And I'll take out the summons and the other summons, because those are useful. And then I'll put every freaking illusion enchantment spell in here, but the upper corner I will always, without fail, usually put my Dimension Door to remind myself I can teleport in and out. Oh, and I'll even put the, there we go, I'll put the Bladed Dashes and stuff in there. That's a level 4, so that's 4, this is 5, something like that. And then where's my other dash at? They look like freedom of movement, so I was thinking it was something else. So I'll have these in your attack list, okay? And then there's more here, don't kid yourself. But again, just why I'm doing it this way is to show you something else. Not only do you have your, let's take this one out. Not only do you have your enchantments, right? We're going to have a lot of enchantments, we'll also have a lot of illusions, okay? So I want to put those out here so you can see them. And I don't mean illusion spells like mirror image, I mean stuff that's like an attack spell. So if it's not something that's going to fuck them up, like Silence or Hideous Laughter, then I don't necessarily want it on my list over here. But here's a illusion spell. Bam. Another illusion spell. Sure, why not? How about this illusion spell? Sounds good to me. Got that one already. Freedom of movement. We actually do have freedom of movement. Oh, I do have freedom. Where's my other? There we go. Greater Blade Dash. Rainbow Pattern. Another illusion spell. Okay, we're moving over to Dimension Door now. That's fine. Transmutation. I don't need that one on there right now. Shadow Evocation. Okay, so now we're actually going to swap out. So I'm going to take the illusion spells. We're getting so many of them. And moving them over here. So when we finish, and I can put you back. And then, of course, we have Enchantment. And that was done. And Greater Heroism is a different kind of enchantment. Here's another illusion spell. And another enchantment. And I think we're done. So now we can move these up. We have room for more. We have more to put up here. So what more can we put up here? Well, better believe I'm going to grab me a buff. Where's my Greater Heroism? Better believe I'm getting that shit in there. And what else could I put in for an attack spell? Nope, nope, nope. Nope. And could open another buff, hasten the buff. I already got the wall. No. buff. I thought we were have it. Key shot, we'll grab that one already. Yep, got that one. Got the bladed dash. Yep. And okay. Well, then let's put in Good Hope. Another buff. We'll swap it around like that. Okay. Now, quick save. Get your character over here. First, we need to talk about gear. I know this video's gone on long. It's going to be a lot longer, buddy. It's an amazing build. I want you to see it for all its glory. Okay. Make sure you unlock all of your search items here. Get rid of belt of. We're going to do enable filters because we're going to go piece by piece. Okay. Now, remember, you are a bard, which means you can wear light armor without spell failure. That includes one piece of chainmail in the goddamn game that is actually considered awesome. I want you to grab two because again I get these backwards, and it's possible you might even be able to wear both of these. Mail of the Clear Sky Celestial Armor. So that's good enough right now. Close the list. I want you to see these. Okay. So here's your armor. Medium. Yeah, you can wear medium. Okay, see that one? But notice how it says at the bottom of the tooltip is considered light armor. Okay, if you're ever concerned, this is amazing armor, by the way. And again, dexterity's at +3. Max dexterity could be up to +5, and you'd still benefit from it. Not amazing for a solo build, but still a solid, tough motherfucker. But it is light armor that solves your problem. If you're ever concerned about whether you can cast spells, do you really suffer from spell failure? Press B. Look right there. Once you put the armor on. 0, you know you're golden. Look at this one. Celestial armor. This one's awesome as well. +9 max dexterity, could have been a +8. And we'll get it there. Again, higher than that, no less. But again, here's my point. See this? Good armor. And again, it's considered medium armor, but you can wear it. And notice at the bottom where it says arcane spell failure chance is only 15%. Press B. See the 15? Why don't I have it? It should be gone. 15's nothing. Like chain shirt's like 20. Remember, it has to be light armor, and then it's ignored the spell failure. Doesn't matter if the spell failure was 5, 10, 15, 20. It would ignore it. You can wear it, sure, but you now cannot cast spells. So again, keep an eye out for shit like that. Again, if you're ever concerned, press B after you put it on. Check your arcane spell failures at 0. You know you're gold. Okay? That's not the armor I would give you. This is just pointing out that there's really good change mail out there. You're probably going to keep it to change shirt or, oops, if I can type. You're going to change shirts. You're going to do studded leather, leather padded, or robes. Don't discount robes, especially on that tiefling build, because you have more dexterity for one, and you have that tiefling ever wary trait that you should have picked up, and that would allow you to keep some of your dexterity even while flat-footed. So there's plenty of reasons to buff dexterity like crazy on that build. But notice, it doesn't matter that it's mithril. I mean, it's helpful because it's lighter. So don't kid yourself. But Heavenly Vest is in here. Got all kinds of good shit. But there is one of my personal favorite. It's studded leather. And it is called Royal Guardian. There's others that you can look at in here. And another thing you can do, by the way, is you could be looking for anything that affects bard stuff. So you can type in Bardic, search, Vest of Mirrors, +3 leather armor. You could wear it. Has the if you have the Bardic Performance, which you do, you use it 4 more rounds a day. Remember, that's 4 more blasties. You have to rest to get this back. But they're there. And that would have added to your blasts a day, or songs a day, however you want to look at them. But I always look at those as, that's 4 more spells, baby. And that 98 of damage, fuck yeah, I want that. So that's a solid upgrade. And notice, displacement spell 3 times a day is a 5th level wizard. You didn't even have to take displacement then on this build. We did. You didn't have to. If this was the armor you wanted to go with, run with that shit. There's nothing wrong with this. But I liked, like I showed you, the leather, the Royal Guardian. Here's why. Notice what happens to your armor. 25, 22, 14. Lower, probably lower, and didn't change, right? But read the tooltip. 20 extra HP, which you probably weren't paying attention to. You just went up 20 more health. And as a solo build, you know you want that. And this looks crappy right now, but remember, you don't have the best belt, the best hat, the best whatever. You're going to be awesome. Trust me on this. This 20 HP is nice. You'll appreciate it. But notice this part here. It's +5 stud, so it's a +8 armor, so it's not bad armor. This is the equivalent of braces of armor class +8, plus temp HP. And again, on that, if you don't mind this +8, get rid of this, lower the HP 20. That sucks, but get braces of armor class +8. And get a kick-ass fucking robe. There's plenty in the game. And you can still solo in that shit, because again, you're going to rely on that dex and that bracers of armor class to help you out. Solid option. But I like this one because if you push that dex max, high, there's very few armors in the game that allow you to have a max dexterity of like 10. In this build, I can get you another, see, 4, 5, 6 more to this. So I can get you up to a plus 9. There's very few pieces of armor out there that allow you to have a max dexterity of 9 or better. This is one of them. Of course, this other one over here, the Celestial Armor, was 8. And remember, check your spell. That's a penalty. So then it's got to be the other one, right? The Melee Clear Skies. And again, that one allows you a max of 5 only. And again, I can get you up to 9, like I said. So are we getting all 9? No, we're only getting 5 of that. And maybe that matters to you. Again, that just means your touch attack is going to be super slow. It's not going to be stellar. Let's be real clear on this. This is not a solo build because of this. It's a solo build because of all the other shit you get to do. And it will be still a solid touch armor class by the end of it. With like robes on or this Royal Guardian on, however you choose. If we were to talk about robes, they fall under armor as well. Just type in robe. This may not be the entire list, but this is a fucking big ass list right here. In this list, something to look for. Charisma. Always search for charisma. Notice that you could be wearing Valerie's embroidered shirt with a +6 charisma, bonus to your persuasion. Those are 2 things you gave a shit about, right? Those are solid upgrades for you. You ruled your kingdom. You got a nice shirt with a +6 charisma. That's the second highest charisma bonus we can give you. +8 is the best I can give you. And some other add-ons as well, which you will still get those other add-ons. So +6 versus +8 is not that big of a penalty. But you would have to kiss Valerie's ass. I'm not saying you shouldn't. It's a nice ass. But look online for how to do that. It's a romance option. You'd have to be male. You'd have to be able to romance her. I think that might even be limited to human. I think they're racist bastards. So you may have to pick a specific type of, like a tiefling and a gnome might not be able to, drop those panties. Just saying. Point is, you can do it. Look it up online, find out how to do it. And she will, at some point, she's so happy that she basically has dirty thoughts, just like everybody else. And she has been trained that because she has idle hands, when she was training to be a paladin, which she is not, she was given a skill to embroider. So that's how she keeps her hands busy. It keeps her mind from thinking about your dirty wang. So because she's lusting after you, she makes you this shirt. That's the backstory here, okay? And it's pretty fucking cool. It looks ugly as shit, but it's whatever, man. And again, I think you have to be male and you have to be a specific race probably to do this proper. Probably half human in some way, shape, or form. So Aasimar, tiefling, half orc, human probably works. And that's about it. Anyway, but you could have some fun with this. And again, bonus to charisma, something that you care about. And again, with bracers of +8, you don't care that you're missing out on your armor slot because it's giving you something else. Notice that there's other stuff in here. Blessed Path you're not going to use because that's full plate and that's just a bad idea. But look at the Dark Master's robe. Intelligence and charisma and concentration and knowledge arcana. All shit you give a shit about. And this is the +8, baby. This is the enchilada. The only thing that's missing now is the fact that you're not getting a wisdom +8, and we can get that somewhere else, or maybe you just don't give a shit. So it's worth grabbing. So I'll grab both those just to show them to you. And there's other robes besides. We don't have to get charisma here. We can get, matter of fact, let's actually just do this. Go charisma. Spell it right. Get rid of armor, go to hat, headwear, and shoulder item. Okay, so Striggoy's Embrace is a way to get a charisma +8 item. There's also the Hat of Mental Perfection. This is my favorite. You'll grab that one. Also the crown's like +6. Headband of Mental Perfection +6. Those are solid choices. I'll show you all those. But there's good stuff in here that you may not want that's charisma based. And again, give you charisma from something other than your headpiece choice is my point. So I can get it from a robe. I can get it from a shoulder item. I can get like a +4. It's not amazing, but I can get like a +4. No, I get a +6 from gloves. Royal Gloves of Valor. I'll grab those just to show it to you. So I think there's a belt even that gives you charisma. That lightning belt. Charisma and dex, no less. And lightning bolt twice a day as a 7th level wizard. That's something you didn't have access to. Here you go, baby. And again, it's not amazing, but it's still solid and moving you in the right direction. More charisma, more DC for your spells, better spells a day, number of spells a day. And I think it even impacts your bardic performances a day. Because like right now you're up to like a 55, which is ridiculously high. So again, there's plenty of ways to get charisma. Okay? And that's your main stat. And if it wasn't your main stat, or if there was another main stat for you, it was dexterity. And again, one by one, go through your list. These don't give you dexterity, they allow you to have more dexterity back. Remember your Royal Guardian armor, the Mail of Clear Skies armor, the Celestial armor. We actually grabbed those 3. The second skin one is a weird padded armor +4 that allows you to have even more maximum dexterity. It's ridiculously high, but padded armor is crap. This is like a +5 armor. So it's eh. Other than that, let's see, belt, dexterity. Obviously you want the belt of physical perfection +8, but doesn't have to be that. There's a devil sash belt and a sash of slash. I'll show you these two. The devil sash, dex and con +8, and again, you don't really care about strength, and it matters, but it doesn't matter that much. You're a dex-based build. You're fencing grace, baby. Extra strength, we can get that somewhere else. We can get that from gloves. We can get it from something. A belt, probably. Well, belt's where we're at. A ring, probably. But the point is there's all kinds of ways to get dex, con, strength, charisma, or intelligence, or wisdom. Just look for them, find out what possible permutations you have, basically, and decide, hey, I like that one. This one gives me, not the best dexterity, but it gives me some protection from physical attacks. Bludgeoning and piercing lowers by 5. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good, especially for a solo build. You need some extra protection, don't you? But there's all kinds of choices for stuff like this. Belts, footwear, gloves. Here's some really nice dex gloves. The Steady Hand, +4. True Strike 3 times a day. That's sweet when you really need to hit something. Maybe you want the Lightest Touch. Here's a fun one for you. +6 dex. Plus reflex saving throw bonus 3. That's nice. And notice reduced person. You didn't have that before, right? Now you can shrink yourself down at will for 5 minutes at a time. And you're not undead. Remember, we didn't make you an undead build. So this is a solid upgrade for you because, again, teeny or tinier persons, more stealth, more armor, because not only do you get a +2 from your dexterity for size bonus now, for being teeny tiny as a gnome, you get more armor, better swing twice because your dexterity went up, and you're even smaller, so it's even harder for you to hit, but it's even easier for you to hit them. And your stealth went up because, again, you're super teeny tiny now, so it's like, did you see that Chucky doll in the corner? He's so fucking tiny. How would you not see him? Because he's tiny. That's why he has so much stealth, that little creepy bastard. And now you can be that little creepy bastard at a whim. Just saying, there's all kinds of choices here. Other stuff that I like for your character, though, let's actually talk about weapons first. We definitely want rapiers. Okay, and I think this is all of them. Why do I say I think? Because it should be called a rapier, doesn't mean it is. For example, we saw before that cutlasses are scimitars, but they're not called scimitars. If I type in scimitar, the cutlass will not show up. But if I type in cutlass, the one cutlass in the game, the Faithful Companion, shows up, and then it says it is a cutlass. When you equip it, it is a scimitar. It really is a scimitar, but it doesn't show up if you type in scimitar. Okay, so I assume that these are all the rapiers. I don't know for another name of a rapier, so this is probably your list, and it's a big goddamn list. Let's grab all the named ones. Putrid Blade, Vein Finder, Elemental Edge I'm not going to count because it's kind of weird. Scroll all the way down, though, you'll see a shit ton of other cool ones and stuff in here too. No less, there's Keen Radiant Rapier +2 is still pretty decent. The +5s are good. But here's your Stratagem, your Deadly Grace, your Black Salt, Satisfaction, Revelry, and the Manifest Rapier. Don't grab it. This is the one that was added by this mod where I think it's a psychic weapon. It's a spell, or psychic spell that they cast where they suddenly, if their hand is empty, they have a rapier. That's psychic projection in their hand, or a longsword, or a scimitar. They give all kinds of cool choices. Trust me when I say the psychics are pretty baller. But those are all the rapiers that I cared about. So let's cut out of there. Wrist items. Type in just A. This covers like the whole goddamn list, I'm fairly certain. But you wanted those braces of armor class +8, maybe. You're not an archer, so don't even bother with that shit. But Charon's Touch, Bracers of Deflection, Forest Knight's Bracer, and if you're an illusionist of any merit, Golden Vision is a baller upgrade on that. Reset all the filters, type in illusion. These might be things that increase your illusion spells DC. Enchantment and illusion, Maya's Charm. But notice, can only be worn by good or evil. Damn it! But it also lowers your strength too, so be wary of that. But this could be a good way if you wanted more. I'll grab it just to show you that it's on the list, but I'll also show you that it doesn't matter that your use magic device is through the fucking roof. This will stop you from being able to use it, period. So some people think for whatever reason that, oh, you have use magic device, 20. Why is it that this is of concern for you? You should be able to equip it. Not in this game. This will not allow you to equip it because of that. So if there's a alignment restriction, it stops you from using it, period. It might even do the same for like monk restriction. Like some people say that you can use monk robes without being a monk or the right kind of monk. Bullshit, you can. those monk robes specifically say lawful good, lawful evil, lawful neutral. If you're not a monk and you have that alignment, you can't have it. Even with a use magic device of 20, you can't equip that shit. So again, just keep an eye out for that stuff. Here's Golden Vision, that was the bracers we just picked up. We can get a different hat. Bonus to wisdom, we don't care, but +2 to this illusion spells. Remember, that's your bread and butter, baby. And again, well, I take my hat spot away. Where am I going to get my charisma? We just showed you all kinds of ways to get charisma. That's why I'm telling you this, right? So if you see this hat and say, I like that hat, I don't want to put on the other one because this one was giving me what I wanted. Cool, man. Run with that shit. There's all kinds of ways around most of these problems. Clear vision, better save against illusion spells. Who cares about that? But bonus to armor, so maybe you want that one. I'm not going to take it. Fake Briar, no. Shield of the Weary Traveler, no. Important part of it, no. Okay, so this is basically all the stuff that we probably cared about. However, you could say affecting, and the reason we're going to say affecting is because mind affecting shows up a lot in the tooltips as well. Like Ring of Reckless Courage, +4 charisma. That was something you care about. This is a necklace, by the way. Or sorry, this is a ring, sorry. +4 to stealth and trickery. Hey, that sounds cool for a solo build. Better chance to confirm your critical hits. You have a rapier. You crit all the fucking time. Remember, you got to improve critical. Chance that it lands now is a +4 bonus to crit. That's not bad. +2 on your mind affecting spells. Well, guess what are mind affecting spells, bro? Yeah, enchantments and probably illusions. Not all of them, but most of them have this, and it will say in the tooltip, mind affecting. And sometimes it'll say emotion. But if it doesn't say mind affecting, chances are it's not buffing it. But that's a +2 to a lot of your spells. Notice all these other penalties. Penalty to wisdom, penalty to perception, penalty to your will saving throws. Bad sucks for saves against traps. Again, this is bad. That's why it's a reckless courage ring, but could be interesting. Just saying, not, you want it. It's worth looking at, okay? And again, there's a necklace that's also similarly weird. If it's not mind affecting, you can type in mind. That'll give you a laundry list of other weird shit in here too. But mind affecting is usually how it's said, but that doesn't mean it's going to grab everything that I want. Like the Ring of Reckless Courage is here. What's that necklace? Okay, let's just shut off everything. I want to go back to press A. Shut off everything except for neck item. And it's in here somewhere, I guarantee it. Neck was a double crosses. That might be the guy. Let's take a look at this shit. First, let's give you a good rating. Here's our... I'm going to go by type. Here is a Black Salt. And this is Deadly Grace. This is Putrid Blade. This is Revel. And we got 3 more, as you can see. So again, you're going to have choices. Don't worry about that. Armor. Let's get rid of Royal Guardian and let's put on Dark Master's Robes. +8/+8. Because again, you wanted that charisma up, right? That's one of the best ones we can give you. For belt, I'm going to give you just the strength, dex, con belt, the +8/+8/+8, because it's the best. And again, we could have given you the hat, but you see, all it's going to give you is more to wisdom now. So if you don't care about wisdom, you don't need that hat. You can put on the Deceiver's hat and get that wisdom up the tiniest bit and get that +2 to your DC checks or your illusion spells, or whatever other hat you might want to put on. You get the point. But the necklace of double crosses, not one I normally use because you piece it together and you have the guy rebuild it for you. But this is one that you don't use on the team because the team hates you for it, because if you walk away from a teammate, you perform an attack of opportunity against that teammate. Or sorry, if the ally moves away from you, there you go. Because it's double crossed, hence the necklace. But look at all the cool shit it gives you. +4 to trickery, +4 to stealth, +4 to mobility. That's shit that you cared about as a dex-based character. Keep reading. Your melee attacks against flat-footed opponents get 2d6 more sneak attack damage. Remember, you already had 1d6 +1, so now it's probably 3d6 +3, maybe. If not, it's 2d6 separate, 1d6 +1 separate. But if you cast Sense Vitals on yourself, that 1d6 +1 jumps up now to 6d6 +6, plus another 2d6 on top of that. You're doing decent sneak damage, bro. Not necessarily the one I would go with, but again, up to you. Maya's Charm. See?
I won't take
Won't let you use it, because again, doesn't matter that you use magic devices through the fucking roof. You are not good. It knows that. Okay, so again, if you wanted that, and it is good, and I keep forgetting about that, that would have been a solid choice for you. And that sucks, because that's a +2 to both illusion and enchantments. That's something you really could have capitalized on. But whatever. Notice for bracers, you got these robes on. Your armor sucks. 18's nice. It's not that nice. Get them bracers of armor class +8 on, you feel a lot better. And you're not done yet. We got rings and all kinds of other shit still to give you. So let's start giving you some of that shit. That's Trickery's Embrace. That's the other +8 item. See that? But it takes here. Even gives you the ability to cast Energy Drain once a day. That's a nice little beam spell. But let's get you back to getting you some rings. So let's go here and we'll say, what kind of rings you got, Sunshine? The rings that you want for sure. You definitely want the Ring of Circumstance for your main character. Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection is awesome. If your Lawful Ring of Law is okay, Evasion's okay, especially for a solo character. Blur is okay because you get it for free then all the time, but you can cast that. Fuck that. Ring of Chaos is okay if you're chaotic. If you're true neutral, which you are not, Greater Ring of Balance is decent. Great Dreamer Smile's good. Ring of the Unmaker's not bad. Dragonfly Ring, if you need some extra dexterity, is good. That's going to be good enough. Let's take a look at those rings. Okay, so first, Ring of Circumstances here. You need a rest to get that thing to work. So come back up here. Rest. Instant rest. Close. You'll see it here in your abilities tray. 4 things you can click on. I recommend for your build Armor. I recommend Charisma. I recommend Dexterity. And I recommend your DC checks of all your spells. Every spell you have. 4 things. Charisma and Dex, your 2 stats you gave a shit about. Extra Armor, you got that twice. Once from Dexterity, once from Armor. Extra DC check, you got that twice. Once from DC bonus, once from the Charisma going up. And you got more spells a day. And your Persuasion's better. And your use you get the idea. You're doing really well for yourself. Take a look at your character now. You had a solid 12 to your Charisma here. We're not done yet. Same with your Dex, solid 8. I told you I'd get you to 9. How do we do that? There's another thing you want, and it is a, there is a potion called, let's just reset the filters and say Elixir. Elixir of Inconceivable Transmutation of Body and Soul, and also Mind. That is a gift from an artisan, Bakken. If you kiss his ass, Bakken makes you this potion. Once and once only, 1 use, period. And it's a permanent buff. Use it on your main character. +2 to every stat here. +1 to all these then. That's why you're at 9 and the 13, and I told you I'd get you there. That's a solid with the ring, with the belt, with the +8 gear, say it that way. A solid +4, +5, +6 to any stat that you care about. And again, you would definitely want to rest after that because, again, you got more spells nowadays. Last chance to rest, I swear. Look at your spells a day right now. 9, 8, 8, 8, 8, 7. Look at your uses of your song. 61 uses a day, or 61 blasts a day, or any permutation thereof. And remember, we can do this, shut it off, and it lasts for 3 rounds. Remember your lingering performance feat? That's what that does. So again, that's why you would do this and shut right the fuck back off. Attack, 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 do your thing. 3 rounds you're buffed. Or 3 rounds they're raging, or 3 rounds you're fascinating them while kicking their ass, or whatever you do. Point is, you have multiple ways of doing that shit, and that's super, super fun. Notice that it shuts off your arcane strike when you do some of that shit, so make sure to turn that back on. Okay. Now, we're not done yet. What other gear do we grab? Rings. We're still not done. If you didn't grab your 888 belt, maybe you grab a belt of Khan. There's a good belt that's turns you into a goddamn dragon kind too. Black dragon. It's called Conqueror Wyrm belt. +8 to Con only. You may say, well, I want strength and dex and con, so that really is a bad idea. Well, I can give you strength with a glove, and I can give you dex with a ring. Well, ring. Here's your ring here, Dragonfly. +8 dex. And again, we already have that, so it's not stacking, whatever. But I could have, is my point. And then I could have cleanse, something you didn't have, 3 times a day as a 9th level cleric. And again, if you're running solo, you don't have a cleric. Well, now you got a pocket cleric, baby. That's not bad ring. The one I recommend for you is either the Great Dreamer's Smile, +2 luck bonus to your attacks, to your damage, to your saves across the board, 2, 2, and 2, and your skill checks, and spell pen, and you're immune to curses. All kinds of plus with that fucker. That's not the best one. My favorite, of course, is the Greater Ring of Ultimate Protection. Probably only get one of those in the game, but look at that son of a bitch. +4 resistances. That's all 4. Or sorry, all 3. 5, 5, and 5. It gives you +5 deflection bonus. That's something we didn't have yet. See your touch armor go up? That's deflection, +5. That don't stack, so get the best one you have. This is the best they got in the game, I believe. There's not a +6. It's +5, I think is the best. Look at it else. Spell resistance 24 built into you. You have DR2/dash for free. That's physical attacks, all reduced by 2. Not amazing, but on a solo build, that helps for you because you don't have the best health ever. 223 is nothing to sneeze at, but I would have loved it if you had 300. But you're not undead. If you went undead, you'd be fucking at that 300 plus because you'd be kicking off of a 13, not a 6. That'd go up by another, what is that, 7 points different? That'd be another 140. You could be at a 363 health right now if you went undead. I don't recommend that because then you can't do the reduced person spell. That's this glove here, your lightest touch. Again, if I don't have the strength, dex, con belt plus 8, plus 8, plus 8, maybe you need dexterity. Here's another place to get dexterity. It's only 6, but it's still not that bad. 9 goes down to 8. Big deal. And you can cast reduced person on yourself at will. It'll be in here. See that right there? There's no number because, again, you can just... every 5 minutes you can do that. And better than that, if you have dexterity, like you do, you don't need these gloves, but you have that free spell, kick that off now, go into battle for 5 goddamn minutes, it's still going to work. You still have reduced person. You see how you're up to a plus 10? And you're teeny tiny. See, your size is now plus 2. See, your damage over here, or your attack over here, excuse me, is size plus 2, not plus 1. You were a gnome, you were at plus 1. Now you're even smaller person. Look how cute you are. Stabbing them with your little blade, you sick bastard. Definitely a solid build. Again, solo build. 28 touch attacks, not amazing, but again, you'll have blur, you'll have displacement, you'll have greater invis, you'll have mirror image, you'll have many things, and we're still not done. Gloves, other gloves, Royal Valor gloves. Maybe if you didn't have your charisma from your robes, maybe you had the mail or the Royal Guardian or something else on, and not using the bracers. Like maybe you don't want the bracers of armor class plus 8 because you want these Golden Vision illusion bracers. Remember, that's a plus 1 to your DC check. Again, many illusion spells that you have. You want that high, don't you? I know I do. Here you go. Well, now I'm missing bracers of armor class plus 8. We'll definitely get rid of the Master's Robe. Now my charisma went down, but did it go down too much? No, only 6. Why? Because I had these gloves on. And I got greater heroism 3 times a day built into these gloves. You see that? So again, you're still fine. Get yourself some of that Royal Guardian armor to get your armor back up. And again, you're at a plus 10. Royal Guardian armor will let you use all that plus 10. And then some. And gave you some extra health besides. Fuck yeah. You're doing really good for yourself still now, is my point. Booties. We haven't given you booties. We need a necklace and a better cloak. Alright. So, booties. Go to your items. We want feats. Which is footwear. Just type in A. And you're probably going to get a bunch of these things, but grab yourself definitely the Manticore skin boots. That's the best one in my opinion. Other ones are good. They're good for various reasons. From there, we also needed a good necklace. I'm going to grab you my favorite, which is, well, the 2 favorites. So you want the Heart of Ira, and you want the hell did it go? No. We've got Ronan Ammo. There it is. And there's plenty in here to choose from besides. Like natural armor plus 5 is good. We got all kinds of good ones here that buff your spells. Give you extra damage, gives you free spells a day, but you want these 2 for a reason. So let's talk about the one that you're not going to use all that much. Once you want to get that kick-ass wizard hat, that plus 8, plus 8, plus 8, maybe you will use it if you can find it. Well, it's at the end of the game. Well, I can get it for you by like level 11 or 12. How do you do that? Once you can teleport, which you can teleport at level 10 in this build, you find this necklace, Heart of Ira. It is found in, what's that stronghold called? Varnhold, okay? When you finally get the quest that says, go find out what the hell's going on with Varnhold, where they will let you in the town, you find out the town is fucking empty. I won't tell you why, but you'll go in that town while you explore it, in like a crate, you will find the Heart of Ira. Find that shit. It's like a perception check even, I think, to get it, so make sure you do the perception check. Catch that shit. Put this on. You are now immune to fatigue and exhaustion. You will never be fatigued or exhausted ever, okay? But it's not just for that. The other, that's even on overland map. So as a soloist character, you can fucking book it everywhere you go. As long as you never take that necklace off, you are never fatigued or exhausted. Period. You're immune. What? If you have the necklace on, you'll see that it is listed here as an aura. You never use it on a solo or on a teammate build because it hurts the team. But if you're running solo, this aura you can activate. Pause the game just to show you the area of effect on that fucker. See the big area? That is an attack aura that does 2d6 of damage to everyone that's not you. That's your pets, your team, the bad guys, anyone. But it's not an attack. And I know that sounds weird. I just said it was an attack. It does damage, is what I mean. But if, even on this game as glitchy as it is, the bad guys don't see this as an attack. So you could be invisible with like a greater invis spell, which you have, or an invisibility potion, which you could chug, and I recommend you do so. Wear this necklace and have this teleport ability twice. You need to be able to teleport in and out. You can go to that bad guy who's in a basement. You can look this up online and find out how to do this. But you teleport into that son of a bitch while you're invisible. So chug an invisibility potion, have this necklace on. You don't have to have the aura on yet. But you teleport in, invisible. He will have a dialogue with you because it cues in once you're in the area. He's like, oh, how dare you be in my area, you son of a bee. Blah, blah, blah. I'm the great powerful Wizard of Oz, or whatever the fuck he says. Who cares? But after he's done talking, if you're invisible, he does not attack. If you attack him or cast an attack spell, he will start attacking and he will clean your clock. I don't give a shit if you're level 20. He will beat your ass. On a team of 20, it was hard enough to beat him. Well, you can do it, and that's usually when he unlocks. But if you cheat and teleport in and teleport out like I'm doing, you can go in invisible with a few invisibility, not greater invisibility potions. They last longer. So long as you don't attack, they last for a minute per caster level. It's like a 5-minute buff. You'll need at least 3 of those fuckers. So buy 3 invisibility potions, have this necklace, and have 2 teleports. Go into that area. It's in the basement. Go in, teleport in, cue the conversation, stay invisible, activate the necklace like I just did. And you can do that while invisible. It will damage him and it will not attack him, it will not start a fight. He will not cast spells. He will not look for you. He will just stand there twitching like a frog in a science experiment, dying. And the motherfucker will be like, oh, this is weird. What the hell's happening? Oh my God. And just constantly do 2 to 12, 2 to 12, 2 to 12 damage every round. And again, that's why you need multiple potions of invisibility, because it takes so long to kill him, because he is a end level boss. So he has so much health that it will take a while to drop his ass. So when your potion is wearing off, which you'll keep track of over here, you'll see it ticking down. You'll say you have 1 minute, you'll have 60 seconds, you'll have 10 seconds. When you get down to about 12 seconds, I drink another one. Boom, have it in your belt, all 3 of them in your belt. Chug another one. It goes back up to you got 3 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever of buff. Stand there, let it tick down. If he dies, great. If not, keep an eye on it. So, oh, I got another 12 seconds. Drink the 3rd. Chug, chug. And again, it goes back up to full strength. And again, he'll just twitch, 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 die. When he dies, if you have XP share off and no one else is on the party but you will go from like a level 10, 11, 12 character to level like 14, 15, 16, maybe even 17 character, because all the XP goes to you, and he's a big motherfucker. You just got not only a massive jump in the game, but you also got all his epic loot, which included this fucking hat. This is the hat of 8, 8, and 8. He doesn't have a belt of 8, 8, and 8, sadly, but he has some other cool shit. Like he has a good dueling sword in like one of the boxes in that room. So make sure to, after killing him, loot his body, scan the room, do your whole thing. Use your last teleport, or at least a second teleport. You have to have 2 to teleport the fuck out. I would suggest quick saving when you know you have 2. Teleport, drink your potion of invisibility, teleport in, have your necklace on, kill him, loot the place. Before you teleport back out, quick save again. Why? Because you don't want to repeat the fight again. It's annoying. And 2, if you teleport wrong, you can teleport into the wall. You want to teleport to the other side of the wall. You do that, poof, back out, and you're good to go. Then you can go on with your business. But you will get massive levels, all kinds of fucking free loot, and it's very cool, cheesy way of doing things. And if you want to see a good video of it, I have it on my build, my playthrough, my full playthrough. But if you don't want to waste time looking for that, I recommend looking up this character named Mithril, M-I-T-H-R-A-L-S. Mithrils has done YouTube videos. He doesn't usually talk in them. He did this game. He's the one that gave me the ideas for like this illusionist build type stuff. He did it as a sorceress, where she was a gnome illusionist, and she soloed the fucking game as a sorceress. And think about what I just said there. As a sorceress gnome, she soloed the game. So if she can do it, you can do it. Because that character did not have a touch armor class of no 30, 40, 50. She had good armor. She had good spells and buffs besides. He knew what he was doing with his character because he's already beaten the game before. And I'm sure he scum saved like everyone's gonna. But the fact that he did it on one of the hardest difficulties and still soloed the fucking game with nothing more than a sorceress, using illusion spells no less, she was crushing shit. And it was fucking impressive to see. And he didn't have these mods that you have. So he had didn't have like conjuration, shadow conjuration like you have, or shadow evocation like you have even. He had the generic version where it was just the first 5. And again, on that, look at these spells. Here's your Shadow Enchantment, level 3 spell. So it's cast as a DC check at level 3. That's important. Look at all the spells that you have now free. Sleep, Hypnotism, Hideous Laughter, Unbreakable Heart. These are buffs. And again, because it's an illusion spell, you try to disbelieve the buff. And I'll show you how to get around that problem. But again, you have all this stuff. I'm not going to go over all of them. Same with Shadow Conjuration. Look at all these fucking spells. Like, you didn't have Snowball. You got it now, baby. It's an illusion. But so what? We're good at illusions, remember? So again, you got Mage Armor. Again, it's a buff. Because it's a buff, again, you will try to make a will save on it if you try to cast it on yourself. I'll show you how to get around that shit. Summons and stuff. Here's the spell that I told you that was going to counter your power attack. Blade Tutor. Okay, this spell here is a conjuration spell from the wizard side of things, I'm sure. And as such, what it does is any feat that you pick, like Rapid Shot or Piranha Strike, or in our case, Power Attack, that gives you a penalty by you turning it on. So a buff, but also a penalty. This takes away the penalty up to a maximum. It levels up as you level up, but at level 20 now you're at full strength, which means that -4 to your power attack will come back on you. You get +4. It'll show you a +4, which counters the -4. But again, it's a buff, and again, you'll do a will save because you're trying to disbelieve the illusion. Again, I'll have to show you how to cheese that shit, but you can do it. And then that's your Shadow Conjuration. Then of course Shadow Evocation you see is even bigger. I'll actually do it from here. Even bigger. The original stuff is still in here. There's the first 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was the normal. Then everything else was added by the modder. So Burning Hands, Ear-Piercing Scream. We got Scorching Ray, got Control Fireball, Molten Orb. I mean, just like a laundry list of shit. Warm Shield or Chill Shield. These are the new Fire Shield spell. And they give you some protection as well. So again, they cast on you, so they're buffs. So again, you will try to disbelieve them. Notice you got Telekinetic Strike. That's a buff. Battering Blast is a race spell you didn't have access to. Fiery Runes is a buff, so again, you'll have to get away around that. You can even summon yourself your own longsword free. This is like I think the psychic power, but they can like make themselves like a longsword of force. So they don't have anything in their hands. They cast the spell, now they have a magical longsword like +3 or some shit made of force energy. Just fucking hilarious, the amount of cool shit that you get from this stuff. And that's just 3 of their spells. And we haven't even talked about the third or the fourth one, which is your level 6 Greater Shadow Evocation. Look at all, or Shadow Enchantment. Look at all these fuckers. Not only do you have all the originals from this spell here, but you have even more stuff, like the higher tier stuff. Levels 5 on down. So again, you got a laundry list of stuff. One of my favorites being Constricting Coils, a paralysis spell that does damage over time. Yes, please. Amazing spell. And you got like Hold Person, Hold Monster. You got Dominate Person. You probably even got Dominate Monster in here. You got Dominate Animal. You got Greater or Good Hope, self buff. I even think Greater Heroism is in here. Yeah, Greater Heroism right here. So again, it's a buff, but again, you will try to make a check to make sure that you disbelieve it, which is a bummer. Again, there's a way around that. I'll show you how to do that shit. But let's get you to your armor and your gear that I was touting here a moment ago. So again, this is nice to get that free stuff. Once you get it, I never probably use it again, unless you're using it on the open road to travel, so you never become fatigued. Then once you get into battle, you take this off and you put on the one you do want, which is Gyrona's Amulet. +5 armor here, here, and here. See that shit? You're up to a solid 33 now, bro. That's not bad. And this is the one that once you start a fight, it auto casts Mirror Image on you. Now, it's not guaranteed to be a full 8 images, but it's still pretty strong. And again, it's free, so you don't have to cast it on yourself. You let it do it. And when it wears off, you use your Mirror Image spell in combat. Buff yourself up, get back up to 8. Okay, go back to town. This is how you're going to solo. We have boots, Manticore skin boots. Normally this is your, people would put the Amulet of Natural Armor +5. Natural Armor Enhancement. So if you look at your armor, you don't have it, but now you do because of the boots. +4. They don't stack. That's why I can use this amulet here, because it's a different category. It's an insight bonus. You see that insight +5? It's here, it's here, it's here. That's why you want that one. If you have the natural armor, Amulet of Natural Armor +5, you would go up 1 more armor, because this would be a 4, this would be better, but then you would lose out on the +5 from this. See that? So this would go down 5, 5, 5. This would go up 1, this would go up 1. and this would be useless now, except for the extra ground speed. And again, you appreciate the ground speed because you're a teeny tiny person. You move fucking slow, so this is extremely helpful for you. And will stack with your Expeditious Retreat, which you'll cast on yourself, so you'll be zippy everywhere. So this will be a nice build, and we still haven't grabbed you a cloak. Just to show you this one, this is the other +8 charisma, which you could have had. We got you the royal gloves, but I can take those off, and now you're still at 13. You just don't have a high wisdom or intelligence now, but maybe you need the glove slot for something else. Like maybe you wanted that lightest touch dexterity ones where you could cast the reduced person at will whenever you want to. Hell, maybe you want the Star Soldier's Gauntlet to give you +8 to strength, which you probably need, and that will give you ray spells for free every combat round. Again, there's plenty of choices. Of course, you'll also get the last thing to give you really is the rods. So just set filters and type in rod, search. So you want the Rod of the Fearless, Rod of Flaming Vengeance, Rod of Power Source, Rod of Undeath, and the Grandmaster's Rod. If you're soloing, these would be the things you would have. You'd have the Grandmaster's Rod, and just keep adding those. Remember, these give you lots of buffs, and not only buffs, but remember they're the last one you equip is always on, so make sure to shut it off. But there's a lot of bang for your buck here. Maximize and empowered spells free of charge 3 times a day, I think, and you can ignore spell resistance and magic immunity. So if you ever have that problem, you're not immune anymore, motherfucker. Hit him with your hardest stuff. Kai Shout does 20d6 of damage. Remember, that can be maximized. That's guaranteed 120, and then you maximize it, or you empowered it, so it's 50% more than that. So instead of 120, it's guaranteed 180 damage. Now, he can still make his reflex save or fortitude save or whatever, but he's not resistant or immune to it anymore. Boom. You need that 3 times. Bam, bam, bam. That's going to kill most bosses. You have all your spells are doing fire damage now. You got a better DC check on all your fire spells. Your caster levels now is 21. You have, because of this rod. You have bonus to your conjuration spells. Remember, not in illusion conjurations, but conjuration spells proper, like your grease spell and stuff like that. You got bonus to your necromancy spells if you have any of those. We have a save against fear bonus now, so that's not bad. And again, that covers everything as far as what to put and where to put it. I want to take you, let's do just a quick rest, in case I spent something by mistake. I'm going to take you into the tunnels, because I want to show you how to buff up with those weird spells that take away your power attack penalty. And like mage armor, stuff of this nature, same thing. Hopefully I grabbed it. I think I did. Fairly certain I did. Boy, I better have. If not, I'm going to be kind of pissed at myself. And I can do it from a scroll, but it's not the point. I hate doing it from a scroll. So first let me show you how it's going to be bad. Okay, so it show you it's an illusion spell. You're really good at illusions because of all the kick-ass gear we gave you, and maybe you don't want to have to worry about it. You're making the will save. So let's take the spell that I'm talking about. So we go up here to your Shadow Enchantment. Open up your tab. Notice this one. Oh, sorry, not Shadow Enchantment. Conjuration. Notice one right here, Blade Tutor. Okay, click it. Grab your weapon, buff yourself up, and you'll know if it works because it'll say you failed a will saving throw. Apparently, you failed it. Good on you. Normally, you pass it. You rolled a nat 1. Look at the difficulty check you normally have to beat. You need to beat a 34. You had a 22 base. You needed to roll a 12 or better. You probably would have passed it. This was just pure dumb luck that you failed it. This is what you want. You want to fail it because now the buff works. So now you can see the buff on your character here. If you see the buff here, you know it worked. Okay. What did this do for you? Read the tooltip. This is the one that takes away your power attack penalty or things like that. Again, even fighting defensively could be something that could have been buffed, or giving you your buff back. Because remember, you're swinging at -4 with that thing. So this could have given you 4 points back because of that. But notice that there is a cap on it. If you read the tooltip proper, it keeps saying it. It says penalty is reduced by 1 for every 5 caster levels you have. So maximum of, I think, like 4. So only penalties incurred by voluntary use of feats or maneuvers are reduced by this spell. So again, like voluntary, like I actually click that. Same with power attack, I actually click that. Now what I don't know is if it stacks for both. If it did stack for both, that'd be freaking awesome. We should probably check that. But now that we have it, let's just go in to show you that it is working. These guys are level 1, so it's going to be nothing to kick their ass. So I'm not worried about buffing up per se. You got more than enough buff on you right now. But I just wanted to show you a couple quick tricks. So for instance, notice, of course, that first sound you heard was the mirror image being cast on you from their necklace. As soon as you get into any fight, mirror image. It could be great, it could be lame, it literally got you too. That's all it got you. I want you to see the attack. Power attack. See Blade Tutor +4? That's the counter. So power attack's still there. Blade Tutor's there to counter it. And that's what that spell gave you. So you definitely want that spell. So when it happens when you make the will save, if nothing happens, you don't get buffed. And that sucks. So how do you make sure that the buff lands? Well, let me tell you. You have this spell that you picked up called Mind Fog. Mind Fog is a massive fucking debuff for will and wisdom checks. So if you go in here, fail your save on that, come right back out. I want you to pause it. It sticks to you for like a couple rounds. Okay, see the 29 seconds? So it has a random die roll, 2 to 12 rounds, it'll stay on you, this penalty. Penalty to wisdom checks, that really probably means anything that involves wisdom, which is probably like perception and stuff. And your will saves. So if I look at your will saves right now, they're fucking in the toilet. See that? So this is a way you can nerf yourself, then buff yourself. So let's try something like, say, Mage Armor, see if it works on you. Okay. Notice that there is a will check. Why? Because you're trying to disbelieve your own dumbass illusion. And you failed it. That's the goal, is to fail it. So it is on you. How do I know that? Look here, you'll see the buff. Okay, for 21 hours you got +4 armor. Only if we take off your bracers or whatever else you got on. So it's not helping you in this regard. But it was just an easy way to show you. And the same for any other buff. So we have not only mirror image, or sorry, Mage Armor. You had Blade Tutor. I don't think there's anything else in this category, but there might be in these others. So let's take a look at the other categories. Is there anything in enchantments? Yes, Heroism. I could cast this on myself. Again, failed the will save. Would I have failed it without that penalty? Because I'm at -10, remember? I rolled a 14, that's a total of 14. I would have got a 24. I would have still failed it, so that's good news. So you want to fail it. And the fact that we're actually buffing our DC check by having high illusions is actually probably to your benefit, because it's making it even harder for you to pass them. But once that Mind Fog wears off, you go back up to being, instead of a 12 here, you go back up to being a 20, or instead of being a 12, you go back up to being a 22. So again, you still would have failed it, but without all those wisdom or charisma buffs and illusion DC buffs, it's even harder. Thank God we have all those illusion and DC buffs, because it's allowing us to fail the checks that we want to fail. Sadly, you shouldn't even be making a check, but it is what it is. Notice that that's in the conjuration, that's also in your evocations, just to show them to you. These are buffs. Warm Shield, Chill Shield, those are buffs. That might be the only buffs for you. No, Force Sword is kind of a buff. You get a sword in your hand. Matter of fact, let's actually show you that. If I unequip it, you have to have both hands free, or at least your main hand, I should say, free. So go to your Shadow Evocation, go to Force Sword, click on yourself. It didn't even make you do it. Oh, that's good. So there is no check on that one. And that's what it gives you. See that? Force Sword. And it just, it's this little psychic sword projection, and it is a +3. It starts at like +1, then it goes to +2, and then gets finally to +3. And I believe it does all force damage. So if you want to hit something where they're like, I'm physically immune. Fuck you, you're not physically immune to force damage, bitch, because this is solid. This is like your magic missile damage. You're just chopping through the motherfucker. And again, it's not an amazing weapon. It's +3. It is a sword, a long sword proper. So you don't have any real skill in it. You notice it's a strength-based weapon for you. So again, you're not getting your +9, you're getting +5. You don't have your improved critical on it. So again, it's not ideal, but it's what it is. And again, it's cool that they have these, is my point. You have, what are other spells? Anything else in here besides Force? Oh yeah, you have your, here's another one. Fiery Rune. You can buff any weapon, yours or someone else's, for a long time, where it looks like, based on the name, you're like, oh, I get to do fire damage, right? No. Wait, what? Well, yes and no. Okay, so here's how this one works. It's a buff-free weapon. Your weapon gets covered with fiery runes, hence the name of the spell. And While you're swinging the weapon, nothing happens. But there's a button, and it shows up once you buff this weapon. It'll be in your abilities tray, or probably show up down here if you have an empty slot, but it is an ability that you can click. And what happens is it's a toggle. It's a one and done spell. It's a very stupid spell, quite frankly, in my opinion. But what it does is when you activate that toggle for the weapon, the next time you hit with the weapon, doesn't even have to be a crit, but the next time you hit, it discharges the spell. It does like 1d4 fire damage that steadily gets better over time. I think it starts at 1d4 and then goes up to like 5d4 or something lame. This, for what it was, the spell itself is probably like a level 2 spell. So the fact that you getting it here as a level 5 casting is lame sauce. But if you needed extra fire damage, I mean, I suppose. But it's like I said, it's a one and done. It's not like a continuous buff. This, on the other hand, is another unarmed strike buff where you can do telekinetic strikes, kind of like Stone Fist. But now you can like punch, and you do your physical damage like normal, but then you do 1d4, I think, of force damage as well. I don't know if that stacks, if that gets better over time. I can't remember. But again, you can try it out. And again, it's a buff. And I think that's it as far as your buffs, because then we have these ones here, which are buffs I already told you they were. Then, and that's your shadow evocation spell. Then again, back to your shadow, or your greater shadow enchantment spell. There's buffs in here too. Why do I know that? Because there was buffs in the low version. And this includes all the low version spells. So Heroism is in here, and it's lame. Mind Fog is in here, so we had another Mind Fog, by the way. What else? There's like Greater Heroism is in here, right? What's that other spell? Damn it, what's it called? Not Crushing Despair. Good Hope. Good Hope is in here somewhere. Might be alphabetical, I can't tell. There it is, Good Hope. So you got Good Hope in here. Again, it's a buff, and again, if you try to cast it on yourself, you will have to do a check. Fail a saving throw. Again, you're still at the -10, thank God. So again, you still have that buff on you. Wait, there's more. There's a really good one in here. Hermian Potential. You definitely want this one. Saving throw failed. Okay, so now we failed that. Let's go find something to kill. I want to show you what that Hermian Potential does. It doesn't last long. Then I failed that saving throw again. It's okay, these guys are pansies. So I want to show you what this one does. So Hermian Potential. You gift the target with the ability to perfect its actions via mental clarity. On the next attack roll, saving throw, ability check, or skill check. That's a lot of things. You roll twice and take the better of the two results. This is very similar to that one spell I told you about at level 6. But remember, when you roll a nat 20, that one cancels it, right? But notice this one. For every 5 cast rolls you have, the target can roll twice on an additional attack roll, saving throw, ability check, or skill check to a maximum of 5 rolls at level 20. You're level 20, so you get 5 rolls. It has a duration, so the duration can wear off too. But the moment you've done 5 rolls, period, 5 of these rolls, it's done. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's show you how you know that it works. First, let's just attack it. That's 1 roll. How do I know that? Go to your hit check. See this here? 3, 5, underline 5, Hermian Potential. It's telling you that it rolled twice, and this is the second of the 2 rolls. It's decided this is the one to use, and we hit. And again, if you ever worry about, am I going to roll a critical failure or roll a nat 1? What's the chances you roll a 1 and a 1 again, back to back? This spell saves you from that shit. Now again, it's a buff, and the downside is because you make a will check to see if you get buffed with it. That sucks. You have to fail it. Again, we failed it because of Mind Fog as well as other reasons. But again, this buff is something worth having. It's a 2-minute buff, and again, I don't mind having. This is a level 6 spell. If you want for your what's that damn ability? Your magic trait. Remember I said that you could pick a spell where you could buff it 1 level higher with, like, say, extend meta magic, which you have. You could cast this level 6 spell. It would be level 7 if you extended it. You can't cast level 7 spells, right? Right. But for that 1 spell and that 1 spell only with that trait, I'd pick this one, Greater Shadow Enchantment, so I could cast it as level 6 version, but extended. It would still be a level 6 casting because of that trait. And now imagine that buff that we just put on you that lasts for 5 swings, or 5 rolls. That sucks. But again, it lasts for 5 rolls, period. Or the duration of the spell, whichever ends first. So do you roll 5 times in a row? Maybe you're exploring the dungeon. You don't find any bad guys, you don't find any bad guys. Well, shit, I'm wearing out of my buff. My buff only lasts 2 minutes. But if it's the extended version, it's 4 minutes. It gives you much more time. Take your time, look for treasure, pick locks. And remember, picking locks is a skill check. And again, you roll twice. Do you want to fail? No. So if you roll that crit failure, you might blow up. You see how you like this spell? It's a really nice spell. Just saying. I kind of dig. And this is a new spell addition. The Hermian Potential is something that we don't normally have too. So I love this buff. And again, the fact you have all kinds of cool stuff. Let's just take, where's the guy over here? Let's take some fun real quick. See how this is distance from this guy? This is your greater bladed dash. Notice how it's all creatures in a 30-foot line. This is why I don't think you can reach with meta magic this spell, because it's a narrow beam. It's not a single target point click kind of thing. So I don't think you can reach this one. This one, on the other hand, where it's just a straight click a point, you might be able to reach this, which means you could shoot it farther. So close range becomes medium range. I might be able to hit that guy if I have a reach meta magic rod. Do I have a reach meta magic rod? I bet I do. See, this one is the empowered, extend, quicken, max my son of a bitch. I don't. Okay, never mind. Anyway, let me show you how this one works though. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move. And as soon as I get within range of this motherfucker, which again you see the little green dots here, you see how it turns red? That means attack of opportunity. So I'm going to move out of this guy's range. He's going to swing at me. So what? And then I'll teleport to this motherfucker. That's what that bladed dash does. Okay, and if you did the greater bladed dash, it would be him and everybody in that path. But boom, 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 could hit multiple dudes. I want you to see the check though. See the check? Why is it 40? You got a BAB of 15. Strength is 5. Again, you remember using that stupid ass sword of yours. Power attack, we got the blade tutor on, so the 4 and 4. Force sword is a +3 force sword. You got a hatred bonus. 2 for shadow enchantment heroism on. But why is this 13 here? Bladed dash, the circumstance bonus +13. It goes off your casting stat, gives you a bonus to that one swing. If you're an intelligence-based caster like a wizard using that, you would have had like a high 13 plus over here for intelligence. It would still have been a +13 to the swing. You're a charisma-based caster, so it's still +13 to your swing. Now imagine, that was just one attack. That was your bladed dash. It does the same thing for greater bladed dash, but with every target within that beam. So if it was him and another guy and another guy and another guy, if I could hit like 5 dudes in a row and hit this last target here, I would swing at each one of those guys at full strength with that +13. Bam, 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 bam. With whatever weapons in my hand, which is, in this case is the force weapon, so obviously put in your best weapon, and wait for it, we have yet to buff up with Sense Vitals with greater Invis. So if you were invisible and you had sneak attack potential and you could hit multiple dudes in one combat round, wouldn't you want to do that? That's the last one I wanted to show you. I do want to show you though something else real quick. Gotta get really far away from this doofus to do this, and I might need to cast a spell to get extra speed. I want to have a line of sight broken from him. And the reason for this is I want to show you how the teleport doesn't work through the brick. Okay, I think I can do this now. So come over to here. Okay, see how the steps are in the way? If I try to do bladed dash, I don't think it works. It may be that it's the greater bladed dash. Let's try the bigger one first. Oh, it did work. Or maybe the steps aren't that big of a problem. This lip here, though, like there was a guy standing up here and I tried to teleport to him and kill the guy, it wouldn't let me. So it wasted the spell. So that's why I wanted to show it to you. But apparently it didn't work on the steps. Which makes sense because it's not that much of an impediment. But again, the point is sometimes these things are going to be glitchy. These are not perfect transfer over from pen and paper versions. The modders have done an excellent job. I'm not trying to say they have, and I definitely appreciate all the hard work, and I love my shadow spells. And I haven't looked yet to see if they have like the upper version of, like, because again, you see we have greater enchantment at level 6. Notice that we do not have access to level 7, 8, or 9 spells. I'm wondering if there's greater shadow conjuration for like a wizard or a sorcerer, and of course greater shadow evocation for a wizard or sorcerer. And if they do have them, and I'm betting they do, then they just made my goddamn day, because I love me some shadow spells. For sorcerer builds and like Eldritch Science and bards, like spontaneous caster builds, these are money. These are so powerful to have spells that literally open up like a laundry list of shit, because your spell choices are so limited. But this is all I had for you, buddy. This is more than enough to get you where you wanted to be. Again, Gnome is the choice for me because I wanted the extra illusion buffs for obvious reasons. Tiefling is another viable option. I like the Spite Spawn was that one because of Dex Charisma buff. But there's also another Tiefling build out there that, or Heritage I should say, out there that gets a bonus to their enchantment spells DC check. I recommend that one for you because again, you're going to have plenty of enchantment spells besides. You could build for enchantment, you could build for illusion, you could build for both. You're a Dex-based build either way you go, in my opinion, and I think you could probably solo the game with this build. Now, maybe there'll be some fights that are going to be rough, and there's certainly plenty of areas that you have to take the team. Like Harem has to go because he's a whiny bitch. Jubilos wants to see the sights, so you have to take him. Lindsay has to go with. So on those ones, you have to take the team. Fine, to take the team. But by and large, park him in the corner, run in solo, kick everything's ass, and then take the team with you to go see the sights or whatever it is they have to click on and whatever they have to do. But I think from level 3 on up, you can solo. And just to show you how you solo, because I said I'd show it to you. For this build, you would have to put in, say, something like...
I won't take that.
That spell won't let me hop it out. I need to put in a crossbow. You obviously get yourself a masterwork crossbow would be ideal, especially a heavy one. And the reason you want to go crossbow is you're going to be level 3, you're not going to have many spells. But you will have this spell. Okay? Now, you can't do this in this game because of the turn-based combat, right? But turn-based combat can be shut off with this right here. So what you do is you shut off your turn-based combat, unpause the game, lead the guys out. This is how Mithrils beat the game with his fucking sorcerers solo. A lot of it anyway. You basically let them come on you, let them come on you, let them come on you, and then you shoot, and then you turn and run away. You got to get down with the pattern, because if you stop too soon, they'll mug your ass. So you run, you stop, you run, you stop, you run, you stop, and you just stop, you shoot, you stop, shoot. Be surprised in that specific area at level 3 on up how easy it is for you without turn-based combat, of course, to just straight up murder shit. But you have to have Expeditious Retreat. Now, the downside is this is also below ground, and there's a lot of tunnels, and the tunnels don't go on forever. So you can't make a complete fucking circle like these big hogging rooms and just keep them at distance and shoot, 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 because they're going to want to melee you. They have no choice. Well, in the tunnels, you'll run down the tunnel, you'll run down the tunnel, you stop, you shoot, you stop, you shoot, you run, you run, you run, you stop, you shoot. If you get lucky, you'll kill them and you never have to worry about them again. But if you get to the end of the tunnel and they're still on your ass, guess what? It's time for you to run to the other side of the tunnel. So you'll have to run past the motherfuckers. So it's going to be rough. Make sure you have armor, make sure you have potions, run past them, especially the spiders, because those little spiders are assholes. But again, you'll just repeat the process. So you go from left to right, right to left, until they're all dead. And if you do that enough, from level 3 on up, through the first chapter of the game, in most situations, not all, but in most situations, you can solo with nothing more than a decent crossbow and lots and lots and lots of castings of Expeditious Retreat. It never hurts to have shield spells and all kinds of other bows and stuff besides, but by and large, this is your go-to. Expeditious Retreat, a bunch of castings so you never wear off, because the moment that wears off, you need to reapply it, because they're on top of you. They're chasing you through those tunnels, right? This wears off, and now you're back to moving at a 20 or a 30, and you're like, oh, fuck. And this trick does not work, just so we're clear on this. Even with you running at 30 and 30, making you 60, you can't use this trick on wolves. Wolves run at a 60. So when you try to kite with a wolf, they will keep pace with you. You will not be able to stop, turn, shoot, because the minute you stop, turn, they'll be on your face. So don't use this trick on wolves. That's my advice to you. This has been a 3-hour video. I apologize. I think you'll have fun with this one. I like this one. I don't know about more than the Fire Dancer, because the Fire Dancer could have had these tricks too, because I didn't have Call of the Wild at that time. So I bet if I did the Fire Dancer, I'd probably still have fun with the Fire Dancer. But I did like this one. And I thought it was pretty fucking slick that we got all these cool new stuff thanks to Call of the Wild. So but with that, my name is Brother Mute. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell me what you think of this build. Try it out, even if it's just in the Tenabra steps. Compare it to the Fire Dancer. See what you think. And I'll see you soon. Bye now.